All right, all right, all right. How about that? Y'all got me now? How about now? Let's see. All right, we in there like swimwear. Peace to the gods. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I gotta watch everything. I'm on the road again. Peace to the gods. Yusef here. Let's get it in. Let me see. I want to stand up. I am stand up. I hate this chair. Let's get it. I got the 42 laws of my art behind me. Oh, yeah, let me put this over here. Second charge. Y'all got a call in number. Call in number. Got a call in number. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. We got to get to this privacy. We got to get on this privacy thing, y'all, because the communists are coming. All right. Let's see what we got. What we got. What we got. Y'all see the call in number, right? I put the call in number up. Call in number is 563-999-3616. That's if you want to call in and speak to me. So there's a call in number. All right. All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Everything look good. Looks good. Where do you see humanity in the system in 5 to 10 years? It can't keep this current scheme. Humanity gonna be in the trash can if you keep being apathetic and allow your public servants to keep screwing you over. That's why I see humanity. Humanity is gonna go exactly where we allow it to go. Stop thinking that these people got all the power. They ain't got all the power. That's why I'm on here today. Y'all be talking like the government guy. These your public servants. These people are elected from the pool of us, and we send them up there to Capitol Hill to represent our interests. We're supposed to be their constituents. Ain't no goddamn kings and queens in the United States of America. And definitely ain't supposed to be no foreign powers dictating policy within our country. And we're definitely not supposed to be joining a new world order without our fucking consent. That's what I'm here to talk about today. Why y'all letting this bullshit continue? We gotta stop this bullshit. What we got over here? How do you know I've been binge watching all afternoon? Been binge watching all afternoon. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right, so somebody call in, man, so we can check the phone lines. I need to check the phone lines, see if the phone lines working. Somebody call in. Once again, y'all see, refresh your screen. You'll see the call-in number. I put it on the screen, 563-999-3616. All right. Let's see. Bless us with your manufacturer for your glass collection. These are called Chrome Hearts. These like top of the line. All my specs is like nice, you know. I go and get a lot of my stuff from Phipps Plaza in Atlanta, Frame of Mind, and the other place downstairs. I forgot the name of the place down. It's only two places I go get all my frames in Atlanta. They're not cheap. and they all got prescription lenses, progressive lenses, and every time you see me on the air, I got progressive lenses, and my because I can't see, I'm blind. I didn't try to go with cheap lenses, and it just doesn't work. So, all right, so let's see. So where we at? I'm here. I'm here now. I'm new here. What's the call-in number? The number's right there on the screen, man. If you refresh, what y'all don't see the number? What y'all looking at? I said call in and talk to the host. What you looking at? It's right there in the title of the damn video. What y'all see? I'm looking at it right now. Call in and talk to the host. Man, let me tell you something. If you can't even see that, I don't even understand. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. All right, you got to hit 1 when you call in. Raise your hand. Hit number 1. We're going to get to it. All right, let me go to Georgia. 44201-4026. You're on the line. What's on your mind?
Man, top of the hour to you, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
Man, all is well, man. I mean, it's wonderful that you started this podcast, because I'm in the midst of, as we speak, I'm in the midst of my security party process and all. Man, it's but I want to know, quick question. What I would like to know is, I do have a on the UCC1 file, on the UCC1 form. Is it okay for me to? Is it okay for me to? I'm sorry, I gotta turn this computer down.
Yeah, turn the computer in the back down. Is it okay? Okay, I got you.
Oh, okay. Now, yeah, I'm in the midst of putting out this form, and I do have my name number. Should I put it on? Should I do it under the organization of my church, or should I still do my UCC1 file under the ends legal?
All right, let me tell you what the UCC1 form. The UCC1 form is just a notice. That falls under UCC1-2.
It's just a notice.
It's just a notice, but let me just explain something. The reason why you're establishing a commercial chamber is a place where you can lodge notices. That's all. Okay. The importance of the name, of whether it's, your all caps name and whether it has trust, that's really not the most important thing. It is slightly important, but it's not the most important thing. So you can file your, they try to give you all this kickback saying that you can't file a UCC1 against yourself, even though that we know there's a distinction between the all caps name and the Christian appellation of your name, but that's not the issue. All right, so you can put your all caps, your name in all caps as as an organization, not individual. Organization and individual, by the way, mean the same thing. I don't know if you know that. They both are entities. An entity, when you look up individual in a Black's Law Dictionary, you're going to see it's an entity. And when you look up entity, it's an organization. So they're both really organizations. They're both artificial persons. They're both ens legis, because we're talking about corporate entities. All right, so the organization, you can put your name in all caps and then put -trust after it. That'll alleviate these people trying to kick back your UCC1 filings. Your 98 number and the 45 numbers, if you have those, they are going to go in the collateral description of the UCC1 form file. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can still file a UCC1, or you can file a UCC3 later and amend it and click collateral add on the UCC3 and add those numbers later on. It's not required that they be on there the first time that you file that UCC1. So you can go ahead and file your UCC1 just like that. And all we want is, we want the filing number. That is your goal. Your goal is to get a filing number. Once you get a filing number, now we have a reference point where we can direct people to go and look and see the claims that you have filed against your property when you discharge debt. I hope that makes sense.
Awesome, man. Yes, indeed it does. I just was kind of wrapped up about that. Like, should I put it under my trust, or am I just keep it under my name?
Now just put it under
You
your
made it clear
trust.
to put it in my
Just put your
title.
all caps name and put trust on there. That's all. Because when we start discharging debt, you're going to be directing them where to go anyway. That filing number is because see the name is for them to look it up when they do arbitrary and capricious looks up within the commercial chamber. Well, we're not using it for that purpose. We're using it for the purpose when we file a claim against something and we give them notice that we have a claim, we have a place where we can direct them in the commercial chamber where they can go and look and see evidence of that claim that we've given public notice of that. That is the only reason for it. The UCC-1 is just a notice document, that's all. We're using the commercial chamber for notices, a place to file public notices. That's all it's for. That's all it's for. And that notice, that notice establishes you, the first in line, first in time is the perfection of a security interest in property. And that's why we do a UCC 11 or a search first to make sure that that there are no prior existing claims against your social security number. But like I said, we're going to notice the Social Security Administration. You're going to notice the Treasury Department. You're going to notice all those entities. They're going to have physical notice of your claim. Everything is going to be in the collateral description. They're going to know. They're going to have reasonable notice of your claim. And you need to read UCC 1. Everyone should read UCC 1-202. Everybody.
Man, it's so much I would like to discuss, but I mean, seeing this out in public. Man, I'm honored to even get this one question out to you, man. Thank you, brother. And President Buns is dope. I recommend that for everybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing the administrative part of this myself. I see it. So, man, thank you, brother.
I think I'm gonna have to write a book, though. I think I'm gonna end up writing a book, and that's my next goal: write a book. I'm gonna write it chapter by chapter and just start writing it, and just start writing it chapter. But I'm going to do it. I've been putting it off, but I can write a book and make it very, very, I'm gonna write a book. Just put it like that.
I bet. Man, y'all have a wonderful day, man. Peace to the God.
All right, peace to the guys, bro. All right, let's go to the next call, 272-1532. You're on the line. What's on your mind? I can't hear you.
Yo.
Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Like the yellow pages? Let your fingers do the walking.
I can hear you now.
Yusef.
What's happening?
Peace to the gods.
Peace to the gods. What's going on?
Peace to the gods forever. Perpetually.
What you got for me?
Hey, yo. Man, I be listening to you so much. It's like we sitting right here together. And you just be spilling on me.
I appreciate that.
And since we live, I'm going to tell y'all something. Whoever don't like it, fuck your feelings. Because this the natural law hour.
What you got for me, bro? What's the question, though?
I couldn't wait to get here with Yusef.
What's the question you got for me? Come on, give me the question.
Do I got to ask a question or can I keep going?
You got to ask a question, bro. We got people online. I got hands up. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go on and speak. Go on and say. I'll give you some time. Go on say your spiel. What you got?
What? Damn. Yusef. What? What came first, the Eve or the Adam?
What came first, the Eve or the Adam? I mean, well, depending on the reference point you're talking about, according to Scripture, Adam came first. But if we talk about natural law principles, masculine and feminine principles coexisted together. They were created at the same time because they're principles that are required for manifest existence to come into creation. Masculine and feminine principles are universal. So those 7 pillars, like it talks about in Proverbs 9:1, wisdom has built her house, and it's hewn out her 7 pillars, which are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Those principles, they came into existence at the same time because that is what all creation rests on. So they all have to exist at the same time. Everything existed at the same time. Now, as far as a beginning and an end, that is outside our basic ability to understand because the finite cannot circumscribe the infinite. Energy has always existed, according to, if you just use reason and logic, to think that there is a beginning and an end, there is no such thing really as a beginning and an end. They just change. Just change. Things have always existed. All right, I'm gonna go on to the next caller. 501-9249. You're on the line. What's on your mind? Dude, tripping.
It's a strength to you, brother. Oh my.
Hey, what's happening?
I would
What's
like
going
to
on?
ask 2 questions.
Yeah.
First, I would like to ask about getting full and soul and physical custody of myself and my children. Is that necessary, and how we would go about doing that?
Okay,
as
so
well as,
hold on.
arbitration.
Where's the father at? Where's the father of the children?
He's here as well.
Okay, well, don't he deserve to have? What does he have to say about you having full custody of the children?
So, that we don't want to be wards of the state, any of us.
Okay,
so I don't know how the process will go, but I want to.
So your question is, how do you get the status of your children where the state doesn't have any interest in them? I think that's what you're trying to ask me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me ask you, did you go get social security numbers for your children?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm the regular mom that didn't know anything. So kind of you can treat me like I'm green. But I do have information. I have been listening to you.
That's okay. That's not a problem. We've all done that. The social security number is the nexus that tethers you to the jurisdiction of the state. All right. So the first thing is I'm going to show you all this on the screen. The Social Security Administration, they have, which is a very good question that you asked. Thank you for that question. It's on now.
Thank you for being here.
I appreciate it, bro. I thank you, man. I thank you. It is hot, ain't it? I appreciate it. Can you, I get, hold on, y'all. Yeah, that door over there. I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Yeah, you turn it off. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right, let's see. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up for you. I think it's it's an SSA 521, and I am going to see if I can get it on the screen for you. Okay, if y'all look at the screen, It's an SSA request for this is no, that's a reconsideration. Hold on, I got the wrong one. All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it, dog. Appreciate it. I was getting my AC worked on, y'all. That's the application for the Social Security card. Hold on. Where is this dang thing? I think it's an SSA 5.
Stay cool.
It's an SA 521. I think that's what, is that what it is, y'all? I ain't looked at that form in so long. I think it's SA 521. Yeah, there it is right there. SA 521, request for withdrawal of application. All right. Now, this also is something that people in jail should also look at too. That'd be the first step. Like people ask me, how I get somebody out of jail? I say, well, first thing you want to do is, especially if they got a lot of time. I mean, what they going to do with the Social Security number if they got 30 years in prison or 10, 15 years in prison in the first place? It's a request for withdrawal of application. All right, so this is an SA 521. And what that is, and you want to think about this, it's not going to close the account. People say you're going to close the account. I mean, it's going to close the account, but it's not going to get rid of it. That number is going to be there forever. Okay, so the definition of a closed account is an account that is closed for debits and credits, but remains open for adjustment and set off. So we're not using benefits and privileges. So that means we're not using it for debits and credits. So the first thing is we got to stop being an acceptor of benefits and privileges. Your children, you can't accept any benefits or privileges from the government. And you have to notice all parties that you are now rescinding any type of presumptions that you are an acceptor of benefits and privileges from the government. The entire Democratic Party rests on this premise. I've been studying this for so long. The Democratic Party is just the Communist Party to me. They're the Communist Party. That's all they are. You know, they design as communist, Marxist, socialist party. They try to play this game like they really have our best interests in heart. They always perpetuating this racism type thing, you know, that we victims, that we're unable to do anything for ourselves. You know, you got this systemic racism, all these catchphrases that they like to use. It's all bullshit. And let me tell you something, if you're a black person out there and you don't think that you have the wherewithal to do something for yourself, you do need to pick yourself out by your bootstraps and do your own thing. What the fuck? You need somebody taking care of you? What the fuck is wrong with you? All right, where's your belief in God? What the hell? Where's your belief in yourself? You know, you think somebody needs to do something for you? I can't do it on my own. I grew up like that. Let me put the camera on me for a second. I grew up in a household where all I heard, these are the words I heard on a daily basis. Your daddy ain't doing shit for us. He ain't paid child support. We behind on the house note. These lights about to get cut off. We can't afford that right now. You know, all of these, this just playing in the back of my mind. And a lot of you have heard these same things and you're wondering why you're having it tough. Why you having it tough? Because you've been programmed. You've been programmed. That's been repeated in your subconscious mind ever since you was a child, playing over and 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 over again. We can't afford this. You know, what do you think this is? Boy, put that back. You know, like we can't do this right here. You know, you need to be appreciative of what you got. Your daddy ain't shit. You know, just shit like that. Especially if we grew up in a single parent household. So the first thing, really to tell you the truth, the first thing you need to do is reprogram your subconscious psyche and get all that trash out your motherfucking mind. Because ain't nothing happening as long as that's playing in the background. I shout out to the Scientologists. Because y'all get a bad rap for a lot of different things, but I read Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard, and he's right on point. Them engrams that are running like a program in the back of your subconscious mind as the result of some sort of trauma that you suffered that shut down your conscious mind and left your subconscious mind open for attack, where they put all this bullshit in your subconscious mind and gives you this inferiority complex or this complex about lack and limitation and things like this you can't achieve. You need to reprogram you need to reprogram your mind. You are not a victim. You are God. And I start all my shows every day. You think I'm playing when I say peace to the gods and goddesses? And I don't care who gives a damn, don't like it. It's right there in your fucking Bible. What's wrong with you? It's in your Bible. John 10:34, Psalms 82:6, Genesis 3:22. In Genesis 3:22, it says, look, the man has become as one of us. What the fuck you don't understand? We can't read? A 7th grader can read that. Go get your preacher. Put him right now and tell them, look at what I'm saying. And tell them to read it and explain it to you. And watch that bullshit that comes out of his mouth.
That's the first thing that I did when I took my children out of the public school. I immediately started to this concept, what I call the deprogramming, like the deschooling and unschooling, so that I can teach them the things that I saw that were necessary, that were outside of that whole arena. Because we didn't get taught money, we didn't understand finance, we didn't understand how it worked. If we would have known that it was all contracts, we would have been starting out differently and affecting our credit differently. So it's really a whole thing, and it's really important that you get it right from the beginning, that you don't have to continue going into the process unaware.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see the need for public school, other than if you want to go and get you some socialize with other individuals your age, which they ain't even doing that because they do everything on the damn video games now. They don't want to come outside and play basketball or anything like that, but socialize with people your age and play some damn sports. But hell, you got AAU and things like that now. You know, sports activities outside public school. Everything that you need to learn, you can learn on YouTube. Everything you can learn about. I learned about credit.
You know, I learned that too.
Go ahead.
The erudition, like being self-taught. I went to school and got 4 degrees, and it wasn't until I started to teach myself. Once I graduated, I started learning all these different things. My mind was going in different avenues. But I noticed something. Once you start connecting these neural pathways in your mind, you send information forward into the future so that it's there when you're ready for it. Because I've been able to recall information like on the spot when I'm talking to people about different things, especially related to this and then spirituality and the whole concept of healing by understanding, changing your mind. It is a deep process that takes time for you to get used to and retraining your environment, because you speak these things into your environment. So I've been working with that too. One of the most difficult things for me is, like you were saying the other day, having this whole positive outlook. And it's like it starts to look so bleak because you don't want to be at the top alone. You want the people that you care about and love to be there with you. But when you get there and you notice that nobody's willing to do that hard work it takes to have the knowledge, because when you can stand on your own square, that means you can challenge anybody and you can actually back it up.
That's absolutely correct. And you can't drag anybody with you. They got to want to come. I understand that, you know, it's like, it's no fun being at the top by yourself. You know, you want wealth and prosperity for not only yourself, but all the people that's in your circle and around you. You know, you want that for everyone. And, you know, lack and limitation is not fun. But that's what they're perpetuating. They are programming us with this victim mindset, because communism is centered around the government ownership of everything, where everybody depends on the government. And when I go back and study everything like this manual, let me show you this book right here. Okay, y'all probably saw me do a video about this TM 2000-25, that thing that talks about democracy versus the republic. And I went and got this dude's book. This dude right here, he did the research on why they got rid of that TM 2000-25. It's a military manual to teach the military about what is democracy and what is a republic. And he also goes and shows how Webster's dictionary slowly over the years started changing the definition of democracy, where today we have this Republican form of democracy, or we have a representative democracy, all these different things you hear people could try to say. That's not democracy. The founding fathers did not want a democracy. That's why democracy is not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution, nor the Declaration of Independence or anything. That's why the symbol of the Democratic Party is a jackass, because you're a jackass if you fall for this bullshit. It's bullshit. The Republicans are the ones that freed the slaves. The Democrats try to keep us in slavery. Who are the people passing the laws that's putting us in prison? The Democrats. You voting for these people and they oppressing you. This is what's so bad about it, is that they keep coming to you, trying to make you out to be a victim, and then they pass laws. Either they ignore you altogether like they just did with the last administration. You vote for them and then they kick you out the car. Or they pass laws that's going to oppress you. They're not doing anything. Oh boy, he pulled Barack Obama on, called him to the mat on, what's the dude does the morning show? And he asked him, what did you do? He didn't do anything for black people. Nothing. Trump came in and gave more money to HBCUs than anybody, and then he's still just going off on this man. Because it's just the programming. These media channels, they liberal media channels, they invaded your schools and your colleges. This liberal teaching, feminism, LGBTQ, all of it is against God. All of it is everything. Kill your babies. Kill your baby. You got a right to your body. That's how they frame it. Does a woman have a right to her body? Ain't nobody took your right to your body away. It moved it never was supposed to be under the jurisdiction of the United States. That's states' rights. So if you want to kill your kids, go to another state that allows you to do that. Huh?
It was really odd how the Supreme Court justice, this lady, Ketanji, I think her name is Ketanji Jackson or something like that, but she was saying she didn't know what a woman was. Now, if you're standing here, a mother, possibly a grandmother, looking, based on her age, and you mean to tell us that you can't define a woman?
That's
for
a demon.
The world, and we're
y'all looking at demons. These are demons. Yes, and I'm not sitting there talking to you as a preacher. When I say demon, these are spirits. A spirit is something that invades a person's mind. When you go back and look in the Old Testament and you see why they stone people and do things, the reason for that was to keep spirits out of the community. They didn't want homosexuality in the community. They certainly didn't want whores and promiscuity in the community, because they know that is the root of the destruction of a nation. Okay, because the families are the backbone of the nation, and when you have people just going out and having sex just arbitrary, just freely like that, and there's no more families, the families are being destroyed. Only 30% of the people are married right now, whereas before 1970 it was almost 90%. You don't see what's going on. You have to read their agenda. They got a playbook. The playbook is the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Let me show y'all this real quick. This is their playbook. They got a playbook. You got to see the playbook. See, all of this will make sense. See, we've been studying this, and I say I was a part of an organization. We were made privy to this in 1989. In 1989, when I was reading books like Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, all of it sounded like a big conspiracy theory. Or what's that? It's another documentary that I watched. It was real good. Report from Iron Mountain. You may be able to still find it on the internet, where they're showing you 666, how they put on the universal product codes. The first line is a 6, the middle line is a 6, and the last line is a 6 on every product code that you got right now. Is still like that. The mark of the beast, all this. They were showing you all of this stuff back in the 1980s, but it sounded like a big conspiracy theory. Then William Cooper came out with Behold a Pale Horse. Now the new copies of Behold a Pale Horse, they've taken the protocols of the learned elders of Zion out. But the FBI just recently tweeted it out, and the Jews are mad about it. They said, why'd y'all tweet out the protocols of the learned elders of Zion? Well, let's look at it and see. Why are they saying this type of stuff? Y'all got to understand that they have a playbook that they go by, and I'll tell you real briefly what it is. One of the pillars of the playbook is the destruction of the family. Okay, the New World Order, they don't want any families. The children belong to the state. That's going to be easier to control you if the parents aren't educating the children. So one of the first things they did when they introduced feminism, okay, was to break down the family and let the woman go into the workforce. Now you got both parents working, and they call it occupationally orphaning the children. Now there's nobody to watch the children. Now you're putting your children in daycare centers and things like that, or you're taking them to school and allowing the state to give them the education. And it's going to be a substandard education. The education in public school is so woeful. I tutored high school graduates, children that got their diploma coming out of high school, and they can barely spell or use grammar or anything like that. That's what's going on right now. It's
It
ridiculous.
took me 3 years.
It took you 3 years?
It took me 3 years to teach my son everything that we learned in high school, up to even trigonometry, and just showing him these different dimensions and how they work internally and externally. Like even the principles of as above, so below, causality. Like I'm telling them, like this is a whole different set of principles that than what we see society basing their morals and values on, because it looks like there's no morals and values anymore.
There aren't any morals.
Like grandma used to tell us things.
There are no morals and values. They're total destruction, total removal. And, we were seeing they took prayer out of school first. It was just a step-by-step process that they're going through. Now I'm beginning to see the whole thing. I'm like, wow, now when you look in your government, y'all go and look in your government. Almost every major office of government is occupied by someone Jewish. Don't believe me? Go check it out for yourself. The Secretary of Treasury, the Attorney General, the ATF. Just go through the heads of the offices, and you're going to see like, God damn, they took up. Right now, Ukraine, president of Ukraine, who is he? He's Jewish. Start paying attention. Pay attention. Look at the playbook. The playbook is the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. They will denounce that document saying that it is a forgery or something like that. But anybody who reads it, I read it. Everything that they said that was happening is happening. Why would you call something a forgery or something like that? And I'm reading it, and everything that step by step that they say they was going to do is being done in this document. They took the gold. They took over the banking. They finna introduce, as soon as they get that digital currency, they got two little things left. Getting the cashless society, which we used to read about in the 80s. We couldn't believe it. We didn't know how we were going to do it. I'm looking and seeing that they really doing it. Hell, I don't even use cash. I can't even believe it. I know about this, and I barely use cash for anything. Get the cashless society in.
I wanted to.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you. I said something before in the chat, and then it kind of brought up kind of a different stream of consciousness. But the way you handled it was so so graceful and like you were precise about what you were saying. So the guy that I was mentioning, because I'm working with him in some projects, he said I don't know what happened. He said, but I have a newfound respect for that brother Yusef. He said, because somebody mentioned my name in the chat, and it was me that mentioned his name, and then somebody else kind of said something, but when you saw it, you didn't care who it was. You just immediately went to that principle that you knew in your mind and in your heart that should be said at that moment. So it didn't matter who the guy was, but when he heard it, he was like, wow. He said, man, you tell that brother, I got a newfound respect for him. He said, because that was so it was a real man saying it to another man or woman or whatever. It don't matter about your past. What is your future? Tell me your story of your future, not keep telling me your woe is me story of your past, so you can start moving towards living in that future like it's already happened, so you can see that mindset change. Because when you see that future as being full of something positive and prosperity, then you can reach for it. You got a goal to reach for. But the way he was saying, his name is Eon. I don't know if you know him as something else, Brad or Brett Jones, I think.
Yeah, I know Brett. Yeah, I know Brett Jones. Yeah, Ian. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's good brother.
He's working on some awesome projects. He's got an arbitration company. He was saying, like, before we didn't have the arbitration company to have that rule over the courts, because they're just standing to make judgment, but the arbitrator finds judgment prior to, because all of the steps in the process have been taken for the administrative process, then they can't do anything about it. And of course, since they're not really wanting to respond, they're not going to want to pay. So when you do the default, then you send them you file it on your taxes as a loss, and then as you carry it forward that next year, it becomes a credit. So then you have the tax credits to operate with. And see, that's what I was telling you before about having the $1 million.
Brett Jones said that. You think that was beautiful?
Yes, and that's what I was going to tell you. I was trying to get a meeting with you so that I could bring y'all together, because I had a meeting with him, but I wanted to bring you onto the call so that y'all could get together because, man, y'all minds are so awesome. Like, I like when I'm listening to y'all, I'm able to go into the space where you are and able to see it. So, like, this is really what they're thinking about, this disembodied mind of God. But no, God is in each one of us. So that little piece that we get to peek in, that's God getting to see this side of life. He wanted to see all sides. That's why he put himself into all of us and made man in his image. That's how the concept goes. It's beautiful. I love it.
That's very beautifully stated, sister. But I don't want to leave you without answering your question about your children. The first thing is, you know, we got to sever all of these ties that where they can operate under some sort of presumption. See, the government operates under presumptions, assumptions, and color of law. Okay, it's a presumption, and silence is acquiescence. All these principles, these equitable principles are what are getting us, all right? Because they're operating under a contract. These are implied contracts, invisible contracts. They are not express contracts. They're contracts that are based off of your conduct. An implied contract is a contract you entered into based off of your conduct because actions speak louder than words. So when you agreed to get the social security number, you agreed to put your children in public school, you agreed to register your car, you know, all these things that you're doing, all right, where you're just accepting it, and they got a contract, and they ask you, are you a U.S. citizen? And you say, yeah. All these things, they got all of this information that they're accumulating on us that allows them to operate under a presumption, okay, that you in some kind of way have given up your inalienable rights as a pre-14th Amendment citizen, okay, and you've just given all that, and it goes back to 1933 with the Great Depression. So that's when House Joint Resolution 192, June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10 came into play under Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I also want to say, when you go back and check the cabinet, the appointed cabinet, he appointed 72 Jewish men as in his cabinet. They framed all of this. They structured Jekyll Island, all of this. See, what they do is they'll just say liberal, Democrat. They use those phrases right there. You got to take it a step further. And when you see a name, you got to pull them up and look at his nationality, especially if you're more out there. Y'all like to talk about nationality, but you're only worried about your own. And you think that everybody that don't have melanin in their skin, they the same. That is going to be your undoing. That is going to be your undoing. Your own biasness and prejudiceness and stupidity. These people are not the same. You ignorant. You the racist. I'm talking to my people right now. My people that became the most racist people on the planet right now. And when I'm saying that, you letting it color you letting it color your judgment and blinding you to the truth. You need to get off of this, man. You got to be precise. What I'm saying is precision. Get rid of that white and black. What is your nationality? You Irish? You Italian? That's how we need to start talking.
Because black has no standing at law.
It does. You know what? That's fine. White don't either. That white, all that right there, y'all got white and black and all of that kind of stuff right there. That ain't saying nothing. They using that to hide. They hiding under that term white.
Yeah, they hide their spirit. Hide their dark spirit. Their spirit is the one that is that.
Did nobody in history in the Bible use terms white and black? What tribe are you from? Are you Canaanite? Are you Israelite? That you're Ishmaelite. Are you from Mitzrayim? You got to go back to that, okay, and to understand and see clearly what is going on. That white and black shit, I see what that was. That wasn't nothing. That got everybody mind fucked up too. Them crayons, they right. Those are not now. But the problem is you only worried about your nationality. You need to be able to identify the nationality of the people you're dealing with.
And the saddest part is they've removed the concept of the spirit in all the people, where they're still looking for this God outside of them. And then the churches, the preachers have gotten so wrapped up in this whole money game that they've even dispelled the concept of the spirit for real, to where they've got the spirit going wild in the churches. The people doing this whole Holy Ghost thing and all this. But at the end of the day, they're not really using the spirit within them. They're allowing something else to come in and take over their body and
that look like a
make
possession.
space for their spirit
It looked like a possession. And you ask,
Yes.
where did you get the example out of this out of the Bible? Where'd you pull this from? Ain't nowhere in it to say speaking in tongues. That ain't in the Bible. It's speaking with other tongues. And then they go on to name the nationalities. That was the miracle of Pentecost. The Spirit came on them and allowed them to speak. That's a miracle. When I ain't never spoke Latin before in my life, and all of a sudden, just like that, I can speak fluent Latin. That's a miracle. Or Italian. Spanish or whatever. And the reason for that, because they were looking for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who were scattered all out through the world. Just like you have us today, you got black people down in Puerto Rico. You got black people in Jamaica. You got black people in Africa. You got black people all over the fucking planet. We all speak different languages. I'm just using that as an example.
Well, for the last thing, I don't want to hold you too long. I'm so happy to talk to you. But the last thing I did want to ask you about, before you finish up whatever you're gonna tell me, was I'm actually collaborating with you maybe, because I'm an author, an astrologer, a historian, and a researcher and a student of all disciplines. Like, I've researched quantum mechanics, quantum physics. Like,
you sound like a very intelligent woman. You sound like a very intelligent woman. I'll be happy to collaborate with you. Sound like you're very intelligent. I'm impressed with you. You impress me. Definitely. Do you have my Facebook or Instagram? Go to my Instagram.
I do.
My Instagram is Yusef _LEL _19. Inbox me right there with your phone number. And do it today,
Okay.
and I will answer you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sister. You're welcome. I appreciate you. All right. Go to the next caller, but before I do want to kind of like touch on a little bit what she was saying about, your children, and the state, and this, there was a document when I first started studying this. It's called One Man Out, and I really like that document. I had a hodgepodge of documents when I was learning this. It wasn't one document I learned everything from. I read a variety of different things. I had to piece everything together. And I was able to do it by first learning principles and learning the language, and then being able to see that, okay, all these guys are talking about the same thing: administrative process, silence is acquiescence, all these different things. I started seeing it. Well, anyway, I was really impressed with that document, because in there he had a section on there, and I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. I'm not at, I just got through traveling and everything, and if I can log in on this real quick. Oh, can't do it. I forgot. Website's under maintenance. But anyway, this One Man Out document, in there it has a letter to the Social Security Administration where you are actually rescinding the Social Security number. Now, what the reason for this rescission is because you're an acceptor of benefits and privileges. That's the main thing. Okay, you got to understand is there's a difference between rights are over here, benefits and privileges are over here. Rights are in the republic, benefits and privileges are in the democracy. You have to look at it like that. So they're trying to get everybody in the democracy to be an acceptor of benefits and privileges. When you become an acceptor of benefits and privileges, you're no longer a sovereign individual. You're allowing somebody else to take care of you. See, the United States was formed off the principle of sovereignty, right? That the American people are sovereigns, which we have the right, we can do anything we want as long as we don't infringe upon the rights of other individuals. And that includes the public. The public has rights too. I have to put that in there because people neglect that part. There is something called the public's rights doctrine. So you can't infringe on the rights of the public either. All right. So you're free to, if you want to move out to the country, see, it's a big, big country out there. Y'all want to crowd up in these cities and think that you can exercise your sovereignty in a municipality. You forget there's a whole country out there with land you can move to, get your own land and do whatever you want to do and ask to be left the fuck alone, which is what people should be doing. They trying to buy up all the land because they don't want you to do that. They want you all in these cities. They building apartment complexes like crazy. They want y'all in these cities stacked up on top of each other, going to a job, and they about to eliminate so many of those because AI ain't joking. Y'all think that AI is a joke? They finna get rid of Uber. They say Uber ain't even making no money. All the people investing in Uber because they waiting on the AI to self-driving cars. That's when they're going to start making their money, when these self-driving cars hit. If y'all don't think Uber ain't coming with the self-driving cars, y'all crazy. That's going to be the first thing. They're going to eliminate all these Uber drivers and Lyft and delivery, all that kind of stuff. That's gone. Amazon, all that stuff, that's going to be gone. Y'all got to prepare for all of this stuff. What are you going to do? Are you preparing for this? You need to start preparing for it right now. These people, what they are concerned with is profit. Bottom line, they don't give a fuck about you. They care about profit. They're investors. And they're going to cut anything out that digs into their profit. Because, like I saw a wealthy person say, the universe is constantly expanding. So they trying to race right now to see who's going to be the first trillionaire. Fuck a billionaire. It's getting to the point right now where being a millionaire is middle class. That's the middle class now. You got a couple of $1 million, you middle class. So you got to start thinking like this. You got to start utilizing your gifts that the creator of the balanced universe has bestowed upon you to start making a way for yourself. That's what I did. I sat back and thought, what am I good at? I'm good at talking. I'm good at public speaking. So that's what I'm doing. That was my gift. I'm like, I got the gift of gab. Let me use that. You need to do the same thing. Let me go to Texas real quick. 470-0129. You're on the line. What's on your mind? 470.
Oh, that's me.
That's
can you hear me? Can you hear me, bro?
Loud and clear, bro. What's happening?
Oh, I appreciate it. I was so stuck in what you were saying, man. So much information. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. But yeah, the last caller, you answered so many questions. You said so many things. I'm just going to go ahead and pretty much reword what I wanted to ask. But I pretty much wanted to call in today. And well, excuse me, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, bro. I come on. When I come on, that mean I feel good. When y'all see me, on, that mean I'm doing something else. When I come on the air, I'm feeling good. I want to speak to the people. I want to try to connect with everybody. Right. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, I gotta go on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I feel the energy coming through the phone. I feel the energy just watching you over the phone. Over the phone. But I'm pretty much calling in because I just need a course of correction because there's so much information on the internet now. Everybody's talking trust, everybody's talking privacy and public. It's just so much information, and then it can be a lot of misleading information as well. Mm-hmm. So, but I've been following you for some time now. One of my mentors told me to follow you, and so where I'm at right now, I started off doing like a correction. And I built a tribal trust charter, and I did the constructive and public notice. Okay. You familiar with that?
Yeah, I know what constructive public notice is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that for me and my family.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. You created a trust. You said a tribal trust. You can call it trust whatever you want to call it. I don't have a problem with that. And you gave a constructive notice for what and for what purpose? Let me ask you that question first. Who did you give a notice to?
Well, I did the constructive and public notice. I went down to the what do you call it? Okay,
that's fine. But let me ask you this: what do you hope to accomplish? what have you put in this trust, and what do you hope to accomplish by putting something in a trust?
Well, I would just, to be honest, I took a little course and we explaining like your blood right and becoming, putting on record that you're like pretty much an Aboriginal, and fixing your name and stuff like that.
So what did you put in the trust? That's my question. What you form a trust, you can't have a trust unless there's property in it. So what property went into the trust?
Okay, so I was gonna get to that. So what I did was that was my first step. So what I did was I just went ahead and paid someone to create me an irrevocable trust, right?
Okay.
And in the trust, I put in some silver and gold, and I put in like 1 acre of land.
Okay, how did you put silver and gold in a trust?
Well, that's the person that I was working with. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. Her name is Dr. Spades. Did you ever hear of Dr. Spades?
No, but
Dr. Spades, Dr. Sasha Spades. You ever heard of her?
No, I don't. I've heard of her. No, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, yeah, she works with like a lot of celebrities, and pretty much that's how I found her. So what I did was I paid a couple of thousands and to set my irrevocable trust up. And that's where I was stuck at. That's why I wanted to get on phone with you, because I have this trust, irrevocable trust with stuff in it, and I don't know how to operate it. I don't know if we have a course or anything with showing you how to operate a trust or what to do with a trust.
Okay, let me go real quick. I hope you're looking at the screen. Okay, first of all,
yeah, I'm looking.
People put things like gold and silver. The first thing I tell them to do is, okay, do you have a bank? That's the reason you get a 98 number. If you got an irrevocable trust, my first question is, what are you doing with an irrevocable trust? Usually a trust is formed for two purposes: either hold property or make money with. Okay, or you have a business trust. What I teach is business trust, because everything I do here is about business. Okay, the UCC is the Uniform Commercial Code. When we form a trust, what's called a UCC contract trust, that is for private banking purposes. That's so we can discharge debt. Everything that we do over here is for the commercial realm. It's so you can operate in commerce, because I've come to the conclusion that everything is commercial. I don't know why anybody would deny that. Just go downtown, sit on a bench and look around and tell me what you don't see that's not a business. And the United States of America is a corporation, and everything in it is a corporation.
Right.
Corporations run the world right now. All right, that's everything. So the reason you're forming a trust, an irrevocable trust, is so that you can remove ownership. They got this thing called own nothing, control everything. And what that means is ownership comes with liability. So in this world today, everybody either wants limited liability or absolutely no liability at all. That's the next thing. That's the next rung on the ladder, is the elimination of liability. And the ultimate way of doing that is having an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust means that you cannot get the property back. You cannot revoke it. So whatever property you put in there, you can't get it back. So you have to be sure that before you transfer property to an irrevocable trust, that you have drafted an indenture agreement, which is the trust instrument, in such a way that as a settler, all of your wishes will be fulfilled. You have everything covered. What do you want to do with the property? How do you want the property managed? And so forth. All that needs to be included in your indenture agreement. Additionally, you have to appoint a trustee. You have to decide how many trustees you're going to be. The quality of the trustees. The quality of the trustees is going to be determinative of what is in the trust itself. You cannot be the trustee and the beneficiary of your own trust. That's called the trust merger doctrine, the doctrine of merger. Let me pull this up for everybody. It's called trust merger doctrine. All right. In trust law, the term doctrine of merger refers to the fusing of legal and equitable title in the event the same person becomes both the sole trustee and the sole beneficiary of a trust. In such a case, the trust is sometimes deemed to have terminated, with the result that the beneficiary owns the trust property outright. That's what happens when you eliminate a trust. When a trust dissolves, all the property goes to the beneficiary, because the beneficiary is looked at as he has the equitable interest in the trust. Legal title of the trust is vested in the trustee. The equitable title is vested in the beneficiary. When the trust dissolves, that's the purpose of a trust, for a beneficiary. So when that trust dissolves, it goes to the beneficiary. Right. But you can't be the sole trustee and the sole beneficiary of a trust. You can't, because it's deemed to not even exist. What did you put together a trust for? The purpose of the trust is for the benefit of somebody else. So you don't have a trust. Right. You're just playing a game. Okay? So are you going to operate a business? Are you going to hold real estate in it? That's a holding trust. You know, what you're going to do with the real estate? What type of directions are you giving the trustee? There are 4 different titles to a settlor. You have a settlor, trustor, creator, and grantor. Those 4 different terms represent the person who creates the trust. And then you have what's called the trust corpus, or the corpus of the trust, or the res, R-E-S, the res of the trust. Okay, that is what is in the trust. What did you put in there? You can put anything you want in a trust. Anything you want. Does everything need to go into a trust? No, but you can put anything you want. I wouldn't put a real estate, a property in a trust that has a mortgage on it, or a car in a trust that has a lien against it. That's not, that may not be the wisest thing to do. But, you know, I'm not saying you can't do it. You can do that. I'm not saying you can't do that. You can do that. All right. You can put whatever you want in a trust. Next thing you know is, who are the beneficiaries, and whose benefit are you creating this entity for? It could be for yourself, but you need to add your children on there as well, or your wife, or your spouse, or different people like that. Do we need a trust protector? A trust protector is the individual who oversees the trustees. If you've ever seen them, I've always said this, you ever see this movie, The Gladiator, and you see Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor at that time, he's talking to Maximus, and he said, "Come, Maximus, come and sit, let's talk like men." And he starts asking Maximus about his family. He's trying to determine right there what type of character this Maximus has. And Maximus, he said, "I'm gonna make you the protector of Rome." And he said, "Well, you know, I'm not a politician." He said, "You don't have to be, you have to be a good man." That tells you something. What do we need as a trust protector? The trust protector needs to have good character. That's what you want in a trust protector. All right? Then he went to his son, and he informed his son, "You're not going to be emperor. I'm going to put my powers in trust, and Rome is going to become a republic again." And then what he was telling you is the senators are going to be the trustees. So right now, we put our powers in the United States of America in trust, and the senators are trustees. But who's the protector? How do we get rid of these people if they're not doing their job? That's what he did. He said, "Look, you're a good man. These senators, this is a hold of snakes and vipers. We know how bad politics can be. That's why I'm coming to you. I don't need a politician to be the trust protector. I need a good man. Watch over these snakes and make sure that they do their job the way that they're supposed to do." Go back and watch the movie with that knowledge about trust, and watch how interesting it is now. That's how far trust goes back. Trust goes back a long way, man. Been around a long time, the principle of trust. So when you want to operate a trust, people like to say operate a trust. The first thing we have to determine is, first of all, what is the purpose of the trust? All right, you're saying that you're using your nationality. Okay, let me try to put it in a way for all the people doing nationality, and you want to put your things in trust. Essentially, the first thing that you have to understand that is public and private. Everything in the public is an artificial person. Everything. That's why they put everything in all caps. These are artificial entities. You have 7 major artificial entities that they recognize in the public, and they are an individual. You need to look up their word and look up entity when you look up the definition and see that's an organization. You have an entity, you have an association, you have a partnership, you have a company, you have a corporation, you have an estate, and you have a trust. Those are the 7 major entities recognized by the IRS, and that's how all commerce flows through those different entities. You got to look at commerce in the United States as electricity, and then these are like the conductors that all the electrical energy is going through. Okay, all of them have different levels of liability. All liability is on the individual. That's like a corporate soul, a corporation of one. So they start you out with a default entity called an individual. Has all the liability. You have all the liability. I'll go get jobs, use your social security number. You do all of that, all right? You are an individual. Okay, when you start getting smarter, you might get you an LLC. And you say, okay, well, I can make me an LLC. Let me start putting my car in my business name. Let me take this cell phone out of my name. That'd be the first thing I would do. The first thing I would do is form your corporation and take my cell phone, because everybody got one. First thing I would do is take my cell phone out of my name and put it, because that's the way they tracking everybody. So if you don't want them to track you, the individual you, take your cell phone out of your name and put it in your business. It's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing you can do. Then after that, if you can get you an automobile, put that in your business name. Matter of fact, when you start putting it in your business name, now you're getting activity on that business. Now you just doing, you ain't even have to go to these gurus. And I didn't go to no guru to get everything that I got in my business name. I just did just one thing, and I said, shit, let me put my cell phone in my name. Okay, then bought a car. You know, my wealthy white friend called me up and said, Joe, I'm at the dealership. He said, Joe, put that car in your business name. Don't put it in your personal name. And I was like, damn, okay. I just asked the man, I said, say, can I put this in my business name? Sure. Pulled out a different set of paperwork. Got your EIN number? Yes. Filled it out. So you got your incorporation papers? Have you incorporate, and this is what you do. All your papers that you incorporate with, you scan them, you upload them to Dropbox. You keep all your papers in a cloud. That way you always have access. You download a Dropbox app on your phone. All my documents, I have access to everything I need. Anytime I step into some place and they start talking about, do you have your corporate papers? I go right on my phone, pull them, yeah, here they are right here. You need me to email them somewhere to you or something like that. Got everything just right there. Send them their
let me ask you this. So
go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. No. Can I do a DBA with my name?
Yeah, you can do a DBA with your name.
That as a business?
You can incorporate your name. I just posted a video on my Instagram where Shaq is talking about Shaquille O'Neal. Go look at the video with Shaquille O'Neal on my Instagram right now. He's talking about how these wealthy people taught him how to incorporate his name. I've been knowing that attorney's been doing it. That's where I learned it from an attorney. I found out they were incorporating their name. So when you see this secure party process that we're talking about, that's all it is. It's just taking bits, and the secure party process ain't doing nothing but taking from that incorporation of your name, taking what they're doing with CPNs, a little bit of secure party, merging all that shit together and making a process where you can remove so you won't own nothing and control everything. That's the whole object of secure party. Own nothing. And even what you're doing right now, anytime somebody talking about a trust, what they're trying to do is own nothing and control something. Just when they start talking about trust, they're trying to remove liability, shift it from themselves to somebody else. Because the public is designed to operate through businesses. That's why the tax laws don't help you. Tax laws are designed for businesses. They ain't designed for employees. Investors, things like that. You're supposed to be operating in the public like that anyway. That's the way you're supposed to be operating. That's why things ain't going your way. Because the system wasn't designed for you like that. It's designed for artificial persons. So it don't have to be, you can do your name. You can do a company if you want to. You don't have to do your name. It just depends. A lot of this depends on your ability too. How much money do you got? I know people who know this information. They don't drive anywhere. They got a driver. But they're so wealthy. They don't drive anywhere. They don't need a driver's license or nothing. They got a driver. Drives them everywhere. Something like that. It's going to get to that point where you're not going to need a driver's license. You don't have to have a driver's license. You need some form of identification. You know, you got a passport. Your passport. Get your passport. Something like that. You know, you got to be creative. There's no one way to do this.
Right.
There's no one way to do this. I'm not trying to in any kind of way sit up here and sell you on this is the way to do it or something like that. Nah. There was no rhyme or reason to the steps that I took. I kind of I learned how to do CPNs back in 1991. So I already had that knowledge. When I seen that, I said, okay, I see what these 4 or 5 numbers are for. These 4 or 5 numbers is for business and personal credit. And the 98 number is for holding your property. Okay, I see it now, because you need personal credit and you need business credit. But you need both of those things. We don't need to be using that Social Security number. That Social Security number is voluntary. It's not a requirement to have a social security number. And the social security number was never created for identification. Let me pull this up for all the people on here, for all you haters right now looking, talking about CPNs don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm talking to your stupid ass. You need to really watch it. Them CPNs are illegal. No, identity theft is illegal. That's what these articles on the internet are talking about. But anybody who knows CPNs knows that the first thing that you're supposed to do is go to SSN Validator and make sure whatever number you're using has not been issued by the Social Security Administration. That's the first step. That's what makes all those articles stupid. It takes a little work to get a good CPN number. It's not easy. You can do it yourself. You don't have to go to anybody and buy a CPN number. Once you learn how to do it, the process yourself, do it yourself. That's what I did. I didn't go to anybody. I didn't get no trade lines, none of that shit. Hold on. Y'all see this? These are credit cards.
Go ahead.
Credit cards. Credit cards. This is a book of credit cards. All right. I have less than 2% debt to income ratio. I got almost $200,000 lines of credit on my personal credit. Okay. I have business credit as well. All right. I'm responsible with all of my debt. I don't have nothing in my name. My car is not in my name. None of my residences are in my name. None of my cell phones are in my name. Nothing is in my name. I'm a person who's up there speaking to you as a person who has done this. I'm not a person who's speaking to you about some type of theory or something like that. I have done that. It took me a while to do. I didn't do anything illegal. I did everything step by step, the way I was supposed to do it. Okay. And it took some time to do, but I've been working on this for I started working on this about 10 years ago. Probably a little over 10 years ago. I've been doing this for a long time. About 10 years ago, I started. And the first thing I started, I got me a bank account. I got me some credit cards. The first thing I got out of my name was my cell phone. That was the first thing I put in a business name was my cell phone. I got that out of my name. I call somebody, my business pops up on their screen, not my name. So that's the first thing I got out of my name was my company. I made sure I incorporated somewhere that honors privacy. And you got Mexico, you got New Mexico, you got Nevada, you got, and you can even move your company offshore. Offshore you can do it and be a foreign corporation. There are things you have to study this subject. But the first thing you have to understand is everything is a business. The world is a business. The world is a corporation. So that's why you see the people come to me about nationality. That's why I don't be feeling them, because I'm like, man, look, I understand what you're saying about we not black. I understand what you're saying about our nationality and all that, but that ain't how the world operates. The world operates through business. Ain't no money, man. Ain't you looking around and saying? These Federal Reserve notes we working with. That's the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve ain't no damn governmental entity. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank. And they got control of our whole financial system, and they make the rules. And it's just like Mayor Amschel Rothschild said. He said, I care not who makes the laws of the country. Give me control of their money. Go Google that right now. Mayor Amschel Rothschild. I don't care who make your laws. You can make whatever laws you want. And what do they do to this very day? If you do something that they don't like, what do they take away from you? Your money. Look at Kanye West. Said something he didn't like. What's the first? What did they attack? They didn't attack his nationality or nothing. They attacked his money. And just because you have money don't mean you know these things I'm talking about. There's plenty of people got $100 million don't know what stuff I'm talking about right now. Got all of it in their name. Look how Prince died. No trust, no nothing. Went to probate. You gotta start studying these subjects. Estate planning is a very, very serious subject in light of the fact that we have communists who've taken over your government, and they are definitely afraid of Donald Trump. Donald Trump understands these things I'm talking about. It's not because we kissing Donald Trump's ass, fool. That's not why I'm on board with Trump. I'm on board with Trump because all the things I'm talking about right now. Donald Trump is a businessman. He's a businessman. He's not a lawyer. All those other guys, they're attorneys. The Bible done warned you about it. Barack Obama's an attorney. Michelle Obama's an attorney. These attorneys. It say, woe unto you attorneys. Go in your Bible and read it right now. We'll see what it say about attorneys. And I understand why. If you're an attorney looking at like this, say, look, man, I'm not saying all y'all are evil or anything like that, but you know what I'm talking about. Somehow, some way, when y'all get that bar card, it's just some things y'all can't do. And one of them is tell the damn truth. Anyway, operating a trust, there is a document. What is my man's name? Express Trust, Trust Administration.
I just ordered some books from David E. Robertson. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah, I get on Amazon right now. I just ordered a book on business trust off Amazon. It's a very good book. I read all kind of books. The very first thing, if you really want to read about business trust, I'm gonna give y'all a real book to read. Google. Let me see if I can Google it right here for you. This is the book I would start at. If anybody wants to learn about trust, okay, business trust. That's what I would suggest that you learn, because a business trust, a family trust, they're essentially the same thing. That's the first thing you should do is you should change your family into a trust and operate your family like a business. This will eliminate a lot of things, these divorces where women are trying to take half of the shit that you got. All right, they can't take something if it ain't in your social security number. Let's just take care of that first. Let's get their ass right first, because they mind not right. They trying to marry somebody, take half their shit and shit like that. Men, protect yourself. You ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to go and get a prenuptial agreement and all of that. That ain't even necessary. Which the thing about a prenuptial agreement is how it's supposed to be. See, they make you think a prenuptial agreement is something different. Marriage is a contract. You're supposed to be putting together a contracts anyway. But let's look at this real quick. You got everything is a contract. The first contract that you sign is with your wife. All right, so these are marriage contracts. You got prenuptial agreements. You got different types of marriage contracts over here. You got all type of marriage, how to write a marriage contract. All right, these are marriage contracts. You're supposed to, like anything you plan out, you should plan out your marriage. Okay, everything, a marriage is contract. This is a good one right here. This right, who the bride is. This is a marriage contract template right here. They got them all over the internet. Let me see if I can download this one. Oh, they want money. They charging for them now, but they used to be free all over the internet. Now I guess people are getting hip to them. They started trying to charge for them, but you used to get them real free. Let me see if I can pull this one up. All right, so right here, let me see if I can get it on the screen. It's a template. Damn, I can't find one. I'm trying to get one to fill up the screen so y'all can kind of read it without me having to pay for something or download something. I got them on my website. Can't find it. But anyway, y'all get on here. You'll see what I'm talking about. But a marriage contract is you plan out everything. You plan out what will happen in case you dissolve the marriage, what you're going to do with the children and the property. What if somebody gets sick? What if somebody gets hooked on drugs? What if somebody commits infidelity? You know, all of those things you take into account. It's already written in the contract. And the first person that you're supposed to be going to is the religious institution, because marriage is a religious institution. The state don't have nothing to do with that, because marriage is ordained by God, and your vows are to God. Why are you going to the motherfucking state to get a dissolution of your marriage? Because you wouldn't got a license from them.
Right.
Your mind been programmed and watered down so bad you really believe that you got to go get permission from your public servants for something. Are you crazy? That is not how it was. It's everything with privacy. Marriage is on the private side. It's dealing with contracts. First contract is your covenant with the creator of the boundless universe, because you have to tell the world how you're going to conduct your affairs with your fellow man. Are you an honorable individual? Or are you just a individual? You feel like you can kill somebody? You feel like you can steal from someone? You feel like you can go screw this man's wife? You feel like you go screw that man's that woman's husband? How you conduct? What principles do you operate on? What governs you? You didn't allow this world to convince you that you can do any motherfucking thing you want without any type of consequences to it. You got to be the dumbest motherfucker ever if you believe that. This is what we call heathens. And heathens are permitted to be put into slavery. So if you're going to want to learn about trust, the first thing you want to do is you want to start operating your family like a trust. Okay, this is what Gwen Wyckoff was teaching. All right, she was teaching my mentor. She was saying, look, you know, your family, the first thing you do, if you want to practice this, okay, make your children the beneficiaries. All right, make some people the trustees, get a family bank account, give everybody some type of duty, have family meetings, all right, have somebody, one of the children, do the trust minutes, give them some type of responsibility to do. If you want to practice doing trust, start with your own family, because your family is your business. Look around you. The Rothschilds are what? A damn family. The Rockefellers are what? A family. The Bushes are what? A family. Families run the world. And you just destroying yours. Your whole fucking legacy. You're just throwing it in the trash. Because you don't feel some kind of way. Marriage ain't about how you feel. Ain't damn sure ain't about happiness. It's about legacy. Just hopping around from person to person. And then thinking that you think there's no consequence to that. Why do you think in the Bible it says that you can't even marry a divorced woman? Why do you think that is? You know why? Why do you think marriage was for virgins? Let's go and talk about this now. Let's talk, because this needs to be talked about, because everybody on the internet talk about relationships, but there's an elephant in the room. Who was the people who were eligible for marriage? Why was it? Why does a woman have a hymen? I know some idiot feminists out there, hymen can accidentally break. Shut the fuck up. I'm not talking about that. Nature put a hymen, a seal on a woman. Because with you is life and death and success and failure. Okay, because behind every successful man is a woman. And when you start taking on the energy of a multitude of different men, and a man gets to you, he don't know what the fuck he's getting. There needs to be some sort of structure back on what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Okay, they are attacking families. I just saw a brother on Instagram. There's a meme going around. He said, I work with all these people in Congress. He can say every last one of them. He said the number one thing they're against is family. He said that. Y'all see that meme that's going around on Instagram? He's saying, I work with these people. I've been on the inside. That's the number one thing they're against is family. They're destroying families. They're cutting off penises. And this is what's incredible to me. They actually are trying to get away with the fact saying you identify as something. These people have mental illness. They are normalizing mental illness. Nowhere in the history of mankind has anybody had the audacity and the unmitigated gall to do what they want. Not even in Rome. And Rome was big homosexual society. Rome was a big homosexual society. You didn't hear them saying I identify as something. I read the books of Marcus Aurelius, got a lot of wisdom in it, but every time I'm reading it, all of a sudden I come across something, hey, they talk about little boys like they women and shit. Loving little boy. It was normal in that society. And they trying to normalize it there because this is based off of Rome. It's based off Rome. Rome and Greece. But They didn't even do this. But today, now all of a sudden, nobody knows what gender is. That's mental illness. I don't have to identify with that. I'm not going to identify. These people have mental illness. They need to be put in a mental institution. Who is greenlighting this? Let me get back to trust. I don't want to go off on a diatribe. But as far as the trust, brother, that's the first thing you know. You're going to get an American jurisprudence on business trust. That's the document you're going to get. American jurisprudence on business trust. You can go to Google and Google that. American jurisprudence on business trust. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Okay. That's the book that you were talking about again?
Yeah. It got a PDF of it on the internet. Let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. See it right here, American jurisprudence on business trust. And there's one right there. Let's see. Let me see this one. There it is right here. So you see this right here. You can start reading this on business trust and taxation. I don't think this is the whole thing right here, though. That's not the whole thing. But the reason, let me see if I got another one on here. I can pull this one up. That's me right there by Yusef. Got me the first one on there. I may be the one that's talking about business. They got me number one. American jurisprudence business trust right there. But the business trust, and here's one on Scrib too. Let me pull this one up on Scrib. See if I can pull this one up. I don't know what that was taking all day to. But the American jurisprudence on business trust, while it's pulling up, I'll explain it. You know, there's two ways to learn trust. Have a good mentor, or you're going to read a lot of case law. I had both. I read a lot of case law. You know, case law will teach you a whole lot. That's where you want to go. It is the duty of the judges to interpret the law. I don't understand why anybody thinks that they're going to learn law from anyone else. Go to the judges. The judges are not biased or any kind of way in the equitable principles. I read their stuff and they be right on point. I read their stuff and the judges be right on point. I got nothing against the judges. You know, there are people going there against the IRS commissioner. I ain't got to pay taxes. All them people I ain't got to pay tax people. Stay away from them. That's not what it is. You can mitigate your tax liability. You can eliminate your tax liability, but there's a way you have to do it. You don't get rid of your tax liability just because you formed a trust and put something in a trust. That's not nothing. The IRS don't even look at it like that. They don't even look at the formation of the entity. They look at the substance of the transactions that the entity has engaged in. And they make their determinations off of that. What tax, you can defer a tax liability with a trust. You can. That's a great vehicle for doing that. And then you can write offs. You got to learn how to do write-offs. It's the cost of doing business. It's business. This is business, man. Look, this ain't nothing personal. If you're not choosing to be a businessman or woman, this is not for you. I sit there and gave y'all the occult world of commerce, and Jason Whitney, that's the first thing he said. He said it's all business. It's nothing personal. That was the first video I watched when I learned all this. That's the first thing that stuck in my mind. He said, man, this is business. This ain't personal. Y'all making this shit personal. You need to get that out of your mind. That personal shit, let that shit go. It's business. You want to fight these people, you got to fight these people with a business mind. Get your feelings out of it. Get your feelings out of it. And, you know, I read Express Trust under the common law. That document in there, they talked about it, too. They was in there, and they were talking about how these people, how they good people, but then when they own they could be the CEO of a corporation, and they the most wickedest person as a CEO, but you go to their home life, and they the most nicest person ever. They got a beautiful home life and ever, but they operate in that corporation, they a straight up motherfucking killer. And that's what you got to do. You got to be a straight up killer. And that's what they were mad about the corporations, because the corporations are shielding people from liability. They put all the blame on the corporation. Halliburton Corporation just did something to a country. They don't, you notice they don't say no names of individuals. They said, but a corporation went over there and did. Corporations are consisting of people. And that's how you got to be. Start with your family. Start with your family. You know, get a family bank account. Then start to have an object, a purpose for it. You know, okay, what we gonna do? You know, as a family, you and your wife are a trustee. You form the trust, appoint your wife as the trustee, beneficiary of the kids, and you and your wife, y'all all the beneficiaries. Open up a bank account with a 98 number, put money in it, start looking to invest. Start like that. Say, you know what? That's the first thing. We're gonna buy us an investment property. We're gonna buy us a fourplex. We're gonna operate it from the trust. And then see if you can grow your business. Next thing you know, you got employees. Next thing you know, you have a huge business in different countries, and the people sitting on the board are still y'all operating it or something like that. Or if you are in the Washita or you are in the Moorish science community, this is what I understand about the Moors. All right, y'all got a lot of members. Y'all talk about this all the time. All right. This is very easy to do. Why don't you put together you an indenture agreement, and then all of the sheikhs in the Moorish Science community, they are the trustees, and then the members of the Moorish Science Temple are the beneficiaries. All right, you have all of them. You have all of them. Shit. Damn it. I hung up. Hold on. I'm sorry. Y'all had a call come in. Let me put it back on. Hold on, y'all. I got it back. Hold on just a second. Golly. They're calling me while I'm on the thing. And then y'all be calling me. I done said I wasn't doing consultations no more. Why you keep calling me for a consultation? I done already said I ain't doing consultation. Dude calling me, talking about what he said. I don't even know how you got this number. I don't know how you got this number. You talking about you calling me on the wrong damn phone. I'm finna block you. You finna get fucking straight up blocked calling me on this number right here. Block. I don't know how you got this number.
The number you're dialing is outside of your plan and will incur a 1 cent per minute charge if you continue. You can...
Let's see what I'm supposed to do. Hold on, y'all. Let me get back in. I didn't.
Press 1 to hear important.
Since it appears you're connecting you now.
All right, I'm back in. All right, sorry about that. You still there? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, sorry about that. I got disconnected. I'll put on Do Not Disturb real quick. That right there be irritating the hell out of me. I'll be on and I'll be like, dude, you don't see me out here. You know, I know you see me on here. Damn it. All right. I got it and said, we should have no more interruptions now. All right. Now, where was I at? Where was I? Where we at? What the time look like? Okay. We good on the time? All right. So, start with a family trust, y'all. Get your trust indenture agreement. Start with that. All right. That's what it is really supposed to be anyway. Your business is supposed to be centered around your family. You're supposed to educate your children for the business. Your family is your business. Look at it from that. Just start, that's how they look at it. They do everything for their family. Why would you let somebody come in to destroy your family? It's hard talking to our people. It is like, y'all don't understand. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world to do. One of the hardest jobs in the world. But hopefully that helps you a little bit, brother. I can't sit here and give you a whole course.
No, that helped a lot. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
you answer more than
Right. Read that document, because the reason I say American jurisprudence will get you in the habit of reading case law. Okay, once you get very astute at reading case law, a lot of stuff get easier at that point. But but if you've never studied law before, I'm going to tell you, you got to start with words. Start with equitable principles. Google equitable principles. Start committing those to memory. Equitable, because trust is the right solely in equity. So you need to know all the equitable principles. Start with that, and then start from there. Start learning principles and definitions of words. I didn't know what a trust was. I started with the word trust. I looked up the word trust, a right solely enforceable in equity. Okay? Went to trustee, went to raise, corpus, beneficiary, looked up those words first, and then from there, each of the definitions is going to direct you to other places. You're like, this is talking about doctrine of merger, what that is. The next thing you know, I'll go over there and look at that word. And it leads me to another word, and they all interconnected. So you just start somewhere, start with the dictionary. The dictionary will teach you a lot. I used to spend hours just reading the dictionary. That's all I would do is just pick up a dictionary and just read that. It was so interesting, just reading the words. This is a word game. So if you're not comfortable with words, and you got to reestablish, you got to increase your vocabulary, because the people you're going against, the average person walking around probably got a vocabulary of 1,500 words, probably less than that. I'd be 700. I'd be wondering sometime, think about the people on a daily basis you talk to. How big is their vocabulary? They probably got, they just talk every day. They ain't read they don't read, do anything like that. How big do you think their vocabulary is? What'd you get away from a, the, right, or, but, and, those words, you know what I'm saying? How many words do they really know? And then you're going up against a guy, he got a vocabulary of 6,000 words. And you over here, you got 750.
That's crazy when you think about it.
It ain't happening. It's not happening. It's not. And the words expand your consciousness. It helps your consciousness to expand. A mind expanded can never retract back to a regular size. That's why you got to move out of your city. I can't believe, I done met people here. I done met people in Atlanta, ain't never been in downtown Atlanta. They stayed in their neighborhood their whole life. How the hell you do that? You ain't went nowhere? You gonna spend your whole life on planet Earth and never go see it? Hell, I drove across the country in a 1999 Nissan Maxima. Don't let your job hold you back. Fuck that job. You can get another one. I don't care whatever it is. If it didn't take your life, if you got another day of breath, you got another opportunity. I don't care what happens. I'd have been homeless before. You can lose it. I done lost everything probably about 2 or 3 times. I done lost everything I own. And every time I lose it, I don't even be giving a fuck. Well, let's get it back. I mean, like, it kind of make me mad a little bit, but I'm like, shit, go get it. Let me just start. What I'm going to do next? Sit back somewhere, meditate, think about what my next move going to be. I sit and muddle around. And then what happens is this. Then God speaks to you. Like he spoke to me about high frequency radio. I was going to name high frequency radio the vibratory. That's what because I wanted to do something with vibrations. So I was just sitting in my nephew's room and, I was on this radio show. And then after this radio show, every day I woke up and said, man, you need to do your own radio show. And I was like, man, I don't know. I ain't no radio host. I'm not a radio host. I ain't never did radio before in my life. I ain't know nothing about radio or anything like that. But it just, every day I woke up, it was bothering me so fucking bad. I had never had anything just on my mind like that. I'd wake up out of bed, do your radio show. I'd be like, leave me alone, do your radio show. Walter, do your radio show. We leave me alone, do your radio show. There's just something just bugging me. Do your radio show, do your radio show, do your radio show, do your radio show. I'm like, what the fuck? So then Paul David Savage L, who if you're listening to some of the radio programs that I'm posting now, my beloved brother, I hope you're out there doing well. I miss you and thank you. I still have that that book you gave me, that William Blackstone. He gave me a William Blackstone a book. So it's an old book. Very nice gift that he gave me. I appreciate that. I still have it. And he called me just out of the blue. We had worked together in Atlanta and we used to have like conversations about, he was in the nationality real heavy. I was in the commerce. We used to have debates and things like that. And he called me. He was in Philadelphia, and he called me up, and I was in Los Angeles. He said, brother, I miss talking to you. And I told him, I said, I tell you what, we're going to talk every day, but we're going to let everybody listen to us debate and talk. We're going to do it on the air. That was our whole business plan. Our whole business plan. And so I paid $49, got a blog talk, and I met this guy. He told me, because he has 750,000 listeners, and I asked how he get the listeners. And he told me, he said, post your links to your show in the Facebook groups. So every morning I would wake up. First thing I did is I got up every morning at 6 o'clock. You got to master the morning. You can't lay in bed and be successful. Make up your bed every morning. I make up my bed every morning. Even my maid tells me that. She said, I've never made up your bed. My maid has never made up my bed. None of my maids have ever made up my bed. Never. Never. That's the first thing I do is make up my bed. I make up my bed. I get up. I got on the computer. I started posting links to my show in 50 different groups. I joined 50 different groups, and every morning I put in those 50 different groups, start my show at 8 o'clock, get off at 11, answer emails. The rest of the day was mine. My show grew every day for 2 years straight. I just stayed consistent. I'm giving you how I did mine. I put in the work. Everything's going to require work. Y'all look at the results and think somebody just got lucky. Nobody got lucky. It was work. I walked. I didn't have an internet. I used to walk. I went to Rosecrans Central in Compton, California, to a Starbucks. That Starbucks right there at the corner. I used to go in there and do my shows. A lot of the guys from NWA and the ex-mayor, they were Piru Bloods. They would come by, talk to me, met me and everything. I actually sat in some meetings with one. OG took me to a meeting. I'll never forget that experience. That was a very memorable experience. And met a lot of dudes. I used to walk up to the college up there. I walked everywhere because I didn't have internet just to do my show at 8 o'clock. I'd get up every morning. I did that shit for a year. Walked. Listen to my old shows, how bad the audio is. So then I decided to get me a mic. Where's that mic? First mic, I just got it right here. This is the first mic I bought that changed my audio because I said, you know what? I'm a radio host. I still got that mic. This is the first mic. When I start getting good audio, this is the mic. I got a Behringer mixer. I got that here too. I'm about to open up a studio for podcasting too because I got so much equipment. I got enough for 5 studios. But I still got this mic. I kept this mic right here and started doing my radio shows with. Bought this first. It's a Shure mic. Got this and I loved it. And this mic right here, it changed the game. All of a sudden I got my radio show sounded a lot nicer because I was doing everything through a cell phone. Radio shows got nice. It got me a nice little mixer, cleaned up the sound a little bit, and I just started progressing. I started making money, started reinvesting it into my business, and just kept growing, staying consistent, growing, and just kept it moving. Nobody gave me anything. Doing webinars on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can do it too. You can do it too. You know, I'm not nobody special. The only thing I had was determination because as a convicted felon, I understood and I want to talk to all my convicted felons out there right now. As a convicted felon, what I understood was I didn't have no choice. I got no choice, man. If I go get no job, they gonna fire me. You know, ain't nobody gonna hire me or nothing like that. That was a blessing. I won't work nobody for nobody, no way. Well, I get mad because these people don't want to hire you. Fuck them. Tell them go suck a dick and die. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I'm going to go and do this shit myself. That's the attitude that you should have, especially when you get out. You got a convicted felon going to give you a job. Fuck them. Go start your own shit. Figure it out. You a hustler and refuse to do anything illegal. Just stay away from drugs. Stay away from that shit. Stay away from negative. Change your circle of people. If you want to change in your life, do not hang around the people you hung around. That's another thing I did. I made a commitment to only hang around businessmen. For 2 years, I was by myself until I started getting into a group of businessmen. And the first group of businessmen I got into were businessmen who were trading negotiable instruments all over the planet. And they started showing me about safekeeping receipts. And that's what I was going to talk about a little bit ago about you talking about putting gold in a trust. You need a SKR, a safekeeping receipt. Where's your safekeeping receipt? If you're going to use something like gold or something like that, you need a safekeeping receipt. SKR, Google it. Anyway, brother, I'm gonna answer some more calls because I know people like this nigga just talking and talking and talking, but I have to talk. A lot of times though, when I talk, when I started this is what people got to understand too. When I first started all of this, I didn't start it for I started I started high frequency radio talking to people who were in prison. That's what I started my show for. Because that was another thing I said, I will have an audience because 1 out of 3 people have been in jail. So my whole, business plan was to first go to people who've been convicted felons. I didn't come up here to talk about discharging an automobile or a house or getting your kids back, anything like that. That ain't why I started it. I started it because I went through the system. I saw what they were doing with the system. That's where my heart was at, and that's who I was talking to. I was talking to those people. I wasn't talking to nobody else. When I started inviting other people on the platform, it just so happens that you discharge a criminal case the same way you discharge a mortgage. They're exactly the same. So, obviously people start asking me questions about that. I knew how to do an administrative process for that too. But that's not why I started this platform.
90 seconds.
It got about 90 seconds. If you're listening on Blog Talk, you need to call in. The call-in number is 563-999-3616, or you go to YouTube and listen on YouTube. You ain't got to. That's if you're listening to me on Blog Talk. But it's about to cut off on Blog Talk. The people who are online already, it's not going to cut you off. I see your hands. I'm going to get to your questions. But it's going to cut off, and we're going to go into overtime, and overtime lasts about an hour. Okay? It lasts about an hour, okay? But anyway, brother, I appreciate it.
60 seconds.
Let me go to the next call, okay? I appreciate it, all right?
Yeah. I appreciate all the answers, man. You gonna have this stage on a lot, like you're gonna stage this live, right?
I'm what? I didn't hear you.
Are you gonna stage this live?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I don't use Facebook Live that much, but yeah, you can call me on that. Facebook Live. I usually do Instagram.
No, I'm asking, are you gonna stage live? Save it.
Oh, this yeah. This is gonna be up. Yeah. This is gonna be on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
I'm gonna go back and listen to it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We on YouTube right now. So you go on YouTube right now. You can see right now. YouTube. All right, bro.
All right, appreciate it. Peace.
All right, let's go to 513
10
8374.
seconds.
Hello.
513.
What's going on?
What's happening, bro? What's happening? What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Man, you start talking about the family trust. That just made me just get some real good ideas on how I can write up some things. I picked up when you say stuff, I just type in this thing called Scribe. You know what I'm saying? It's like $11 a month, but they give you all types of documentation. It's for y'all. But it's activating and funding the pure business trust. I didn't even think about a business trust. I was putting together a trust, and I wasn't even thinking about a business trust. But then when I read it, it was something that was very interesting. It said, never accept any registered mail. Never accept mail at your personal address that is addressed to the board of trustees of the trust or manager of the LLC. So, I'm like, don't accept registered mail. I mean,
that's called that's
so much stuff I want.
That's trust administration, and that's how you got to maintain privacy. Those are all techniques in maintaining privacy because because what we're talking about is a private trust. It's a private business trust. We call it an irrevocable trust, but it's an irrevocable private business trust. Essentially, is what it is. They call it many different names: a contractual trust, a Massachusetts trust. I got many different names that he uses, but essentially it's private in nature. So trust administration is important for the trustees to know how to maintain privacy because the people who you're going against, they always trying to get rid of your privacy. They're always trying to figure out a way to pierce that privacy protection that you got. So, so that's why you have to be skillful in what you do. They'll ask you a question, like you go into the bank and you try to open up a bank account. The only part of the indenture agreement that the bank needs to see is the portion that gives permission for the trustees to open up the bank account and gives them the authority to do it, and what bank, the trust minutes that are associated with that. but then they might ask you to see your whole indenture agreement. Like, hell no, you're not seeing my whole indenture agreement. What's wrong with you? You don't need to see that. That's private. You don't give them all your information, but they'll try you to see if you know. They'll try you. They try you all the time to see if you know. Do you know what you're doing? If you don't know what you're doing, they're going to try you all the time. And you got to know how to maintain privacy. You know, that's what it's all about, maintaining privacy, the integrity of the trust. The trust administration is everything. Forming a trust ain't shit. I ain't impressed by people passing out around paper, talking about they got a trust. That's not nothing. You can do that in one day. It take you 9 months to learn how to administer a trust.
Yeah.
Forming a trust ain't nothing.
Now, like, whoa.
That's not nothing. That's not nothing to me. Somebody said, I got a trust. Okay. You got a 9(8) number, you got an indenture agreement. Yep. Okay, good. All right, what's next? You know, if you're going to really form a real indenture agreement and you sit down with someone who will consult you, like maybe a Gwen Wyckoff or something like that, it probably will be a lot more involved, and especially if you got a lot of assets, real assets and money. It's not going to be easy to put one together because you do need to have someone to sit down and look at the things that you got and the best way to, you know, administer that property that you're seeking to put into a trust. But the average person out there that ain't really got a lot and y'all talking about forming a trust, that's not nothing because you got a trust indenture agreement. That's okay. Those not hard to get. You can go to American jurisprudence and they got a section of books in there and they got trust indenture agreements for business trusts in there. You go to the law library and get one. I got them. I copied them and yeah, I got them on my computer right now. You know, so that's not saying anything. Fill in the blank type boilerplate documents don't impress me. That's not evidence of anything. It's whether or not do you understand what you're doing. That's why you got to educate yourself. Yeah. And you know, you have to, you know, starting with the family, what other better way to start with your family? Whatever mistakes and fuck ups you make, it's all in the family. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, start with the family. You know, take a year out, learn how to do this. And this is also how you keep the family together. Because once you start making money, let me tell you how these people keep their families together. Because don't get it twisted. They be hating each other, have disagreements, and all of that kind of shit too. But they understand the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, first of all, we got $100 million over here in this trust. It's taking care of everybody in the family. And if anybody violates the rules of the family and you get put out, like Warren Buffett did his niece. Did y'all see on that show on YouTube where Warren Buffett put his youngest niece out because she talked to the media, and now she living in a 1-bedroom apartment somewhere, ain't got no access to nothing, ostracized from the rest of the family. That's what happens. That's how you keep the family together. Love ain't doing it. Love is not doing it. You forget that. Huh?
Took the words out of my mouth, man. That's how you keep the family together.
It ain't love. Y'all looking for love to keep the family together. That ain't doing it. That's not doing it. All right. It's a bigger purpose that's keeping the family in a cohesive unit. And that is the higher purpose. The higher purpose is the family name and the objective of the family. And you have to have things in place that'll keep that together. You do, and that's what a family trust does. It keeps the family together. Keeps the family together. But you know, you got to give somebody something to lose, you know. And you can't trust nobody who don't have as much to lose as you do. This trust thing is another thing. You trust people who have as much to lose as you do. So you got to give them something to lose, man. Give them something to lose, something big to lose. Make them think twice about it. They go and cheat on each other and sleep with other people. They ain't finna get no divorce. They ain't getting no divorce, so they do all of that. No, they ain't angels. They ain't talking about these people like they're angels. But they understand, hey, you got to marry this person over here. You know, you got to do this. You got to, you know, it's a different type of game. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, though, like you talking about something to lose, listening to you, right? And, like, I got some templates from the Moral Science templates. So I put together this, and I deposited it in this traffic case. And I actually had bond. You know what I'm saying? Actually, the prosecutor highlighted a part of my documentation, and then he gave me a bunch of old bonds from 1999 and 2006. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but see, he and I'm gonna read it. It said all officials are required by
federal, state, and municipal law to provide the name, address, and telephone number of their public hazard and malpractice bonding company and the policy number of the bond. And if required, a copy of the policy describing the bonding of their specific job performance. Failure to provide this information constitutes corporate and limited liability insurance fraud and is prima facie evidence and grounds to impose lien upon the official personally to secure their public oath and service of office. So
that sounds like a document. Who wrote that? Because that's somebody sending a notice to somebody. They got to provide their public hazard bond that allows them to operate in the public. And that is public information. And you have to provide that information. That's exactly right. They got to provide it. They go ahead.
They provided 2011. They provided one from 1956 or something. They didn't even. So when I
well,
when
is it still? I mean,
and I used it twice.
The age of it is not. It's just when is it mature, or it's a bond is an insurance. It's like insurance. Bond means promise. That's all bond means. So they take an oath of office. That's their promise, and then they insure that oath. Okay, that oath. Their word is they bond, but they put a monetary value attached to that oath. They do the same thing when you come into the country. They do the same. I had to learn this when I was in jail doing legal work for individuals. When somebody comes into the country, Homeland Security will ask them, okay, well, how much money are you bringing into the country? What are you here for? How long are you going to be here? Okay, if that person comes into the country and commits a crime and they arrest them, first thing they got in their discovery on the top of that is that document from Homeland Security. They got an OMB number on it. That's a bond. And they cashing that shit in. You just broke your word. You said you were coming over here with this much money. You said you were coming in our country with this, and you didn't do none of that shit. And now we finna cash it in on your ass. And that's in their discovery. And then they asked them, do you want to speak to the who is it? He's responsible for the commercial affairs in their country. My mind went blank. But they're telling them check no on that. It's all commercial, brother. I didn't see the way they're hiding it. It's an overlay. They got the law right here, and then they got the commerce above it as an overlay. It's and they got all the words the same and everything. They were very skillful. It took a very intelligent person to conceal this shit, man. And it's all concealed with words. Yeah. That's why you got to learn with words. It's very intelligent, man. And they lying because they say, that's some bullshit. Ask them to fill out an affidavit. Oh, this is some bullshit? Well, will you sign this affidavit under penalty of perjury that it's some bullshit? Then see what happens. Because one thing I'm going to tell everybody, you look at me right now when I'm saying, they may act like there's no God. They got all this shit, like ain't really no God. They telling y'all that. Test them on that. Oh, you don't think there's no God? Let's see. Sign this affidavit under penalty of perjury. There ain't no God. Why you care? Just an affidavit. Sign it. Swear under penalty of perjury. Swear to God what you saying is true. They take that shit serious. That's how you know. That's one thing. Test them and see if what I'm saying is true. They don't take that. They rather obfuscate. No. Even when you look at the CPNs, if you read them articles on CPNs, you got to read the article and see how they word and everything. They don't want to really directly say, they say, well, this person went to jail, but then you read the case law, you see why they went to jail. Well, hell yeah, they went to jail. They committed fraud. But the CPN number is not illegal. Where's the injury? If I got a CPN number, where's the injury? If I got a credit card with a CPN number and I pay all my bills on time, where's the injury?
Yes, sir. Well, I did want to say, I think the judge thought that I was able to do a commercial lien. Now I wasn't until, you know what I'm saying, and I feel like I put the templates together, to be honest. But I wasn't until you gonna put a commercial lien.
You gonna put a commercial lien on the judge?
No, these little magistrates and these little traffic.
Well, I mean, okay,
and I wasn't going to do it.
You cannot put a lien on it. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you this. You can only attack a public official if they operate outside the ambit of their delegated authority. I'm going to give you an analogy.
Okay.
These magistrates and judges, they employees of the state. You're attacking employees. Are you going to go to T-Mobile and call on the phone and you got a billing issue and you get into it with the customer service rep and you're going to start saying, I'm going to put a lien on your ass, give me your name. That's why they operate under limited liability, because they have somebody, they are administrators. What that means is they following the directives of somebody telling them what to do. So they got guidelines they follow and procedures. So you can't attack them. You can only attack when they refuse to follow those guidelines and procedures. Now you can get them in their personal capacity, because now they're doing their own shit. So you got to be able to prove they're doing their own shit if you want to attack them. And you attack them in their personal capacity.
You're right.
Because if you attack them in their public capacity, you're not suing them, you're suing the state. You're going up against the state.
Yeah.
You're not going up against them when you sue a public official. You sue a public official, you're suing the state. I got that straight out the law books, and any attorney will tell you the same thing. You're not suing a public official, you're suing the state. Because as long, if you can't prove he didn't do anything outside what he's permitted to do with them rules of procedure. Same thing with an officer. What the first thing they do with a police officer? They shoot him down, y'all raise hell, the chief of police come up there and say, he followed procedure. We're just going to put him on 2 weeks leave, paid leave. Oh, shit, they just corrupt. They corrupt. He followed the procedure. If he don't follow as long as he follows the procedure, you can't do nothing. You can't touch him. Because that means he said, I did everything you told me to do. That's what that means.
You know what? You was right. I shouldn't have said the judge. I really should have said, because I asked the prosecuting attorney, are you going to put an appearance in the case? And he was like, you know what, I'm going to leave this alone. And that's the person who there really is no plaintiff. There's no injured party. So I asked him, did he do that? Did he make an appearance in the case to be the so-called injured party? And that was the person I was going to probably lean on. You think that's the person?
And he didn't put no appearance in the case, did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, notice of entry of appearance. That's when he takes on the liability, when he puts in a notice of entry of appearance. But that's why you have a bar card. The bar card is evidence that he's insured. His bar card number. That's his public hazard bond. Everybody in the public got to be bonded and insured in some kind of way. Anybody who comes in, all public actors are insured because they gave an oath, and the oath has to be insured. You got to have something in place. What if they don't keep their word? They took an oath. What happens if they don't keep their word? There has to be a penalty. The penalty is monetary. It's pecuniary in nature. That's the penalty. Everything is commerce.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Now, this is one. It's like a lazy man question, but when it comes to like having an affidavit, put it on record that what I'm saying, to kind of rebut some of the presumptions they put on you. Is it one? You have to do many of them. I heard you talking about one earlier about Social Security and doing one particularly for that one. But is there one you can put together and it will address all of them? Will it be real long, or
you got?
Like I said, it's a lazy man.
That affidavit of sovereignty is my favorite, because you're talking about addressing minimum contacts. See, minimum contacts is the term you need to know. Minimum contact. Minimum contacts. That's what gives jurisdiction to them. Is a minimum contact. That's it. So you got to address minimum contacts. Minimum contacts are all the invisible contracts that you are involved in. Did you incorporate in their jurisdiction? Are you using the internet? Did you put your children in public school? Did you register your car? Did you get a driver's license? Are you using Federal Reserve notes? Using Federal Reserve notes is a minimum contact. That's a minimum contact. That's why back in the day, let me tell you something. Back in the day, when I got into this, a lot of guys, they were doing seminars and they would only take gold and silver. You couldn't pay for their seminar in Federal Reserve notes. You had to come to the seminar, you had to go buy some gold, and then come to the seminar and get them gold and silver. You couldn't come to the seminar with Federal Reserve notes. That's how dudes were doing, you know what I'm saying? Because they understood this. A lot of guys don't. That's why I'm always talking about John Wick. John Wick, they trying to teach you something. They didn't do all business in John Wick was conducted with gold. They didn't use no technology. They were off the grid, and they had an agreement. It was a society. Watch all the John Wick. Listen to the dialogue. I think especially if there's John Wick 4 now, which is real good. Listen to the dialogue, what they're saying. They telling you, we got a society. We got agreements. When they let you in their society, you got to follow the rules. That's the same thing with the social contract in the public. That's why they're looking at it as a minimum contract. They're saying to you, you under a contract, you agreed to come in this society with everybody as a U.S. citizen and follow the rules that rule over U.S. citizens. There are rules to that. It's a society. And you're saying, well, I wasn't given full disclosure of all these rules, and I don't think I want to be a part of your society anymore. And they'll say, well, good, stop using our shit then. Stop using our social security number. Stop using our banks. Stop coming in the grocery. Stop using our shit. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to be a part of our society. Stop using our shit. But if you want to keep using the shit, if you want to be in the world but not of it, get a corporation. That's why we're doing it. That's why everybody say, okay, well, then, I'm gonna stop using your shit, but my company ain't. My company's gonna use all the shit now. I'm not using it. That's the game.
Yep. That's the game.
That's the whole game right there. That's the game. The game is put everything in a corporation. That's the game. That's the game. Own nothing, control everything. That's been the game. Who that said? I think Rockefeller said it. Rockefeller was right. He said, own nothing, control everything. That was it. He said, that's the name of the game. Name of the game. And when you go back and study express trust under the common law, what they were talking about, see, I'm going to tell you, you need to really watch that movie Time Life magazine put out. It's called The Men Who Built America. And it's about J.P. Morgan, Carnegie, Vanderbilt, who had the railroads, Carnegie had the steel, and Rockefeller had the oil. All right. That's where the game Monopoly came from. If you look at the game Monopoly, it's really built off those four guys, the railroad, the oil, all that kind of stuff. So, because they were monopolizing. Vanderbilt monopolized the railways. Morgan monopolized the banks. Rockefeller monopolized the oil. And he had Standard Oil, which is now Mobil and Exxon. And Carnegie had the steel, which he built the cities. And when he built the cities, we came out of the country and went into the cities, gave up our land in the country to work jobs in the city. And all these guys. So the thing about it is when you go back and study trust, they had the antitrust laws. I think that's when they took over the government and they started doing everything because they was cool with just doing business as long as the government didn't get in their business. They started fucking with the U.S. government and took over the U.S. government when the government started getting in their business because they were monopolizing everything. And that's what pissed them off. And that's when they took over the government. In 1912 and 1913, they started doing it. They said, okay, y'all want to fuck with us? We just going to take y'all motherfuckers over. That's what happened. That's what I get in my research, just me just reading everything and thinking how rich, powerful men are. Mm-hmm. They was cool. They were monopolizing everything. They had no problem with the government. They put together the Massachusetts Trust because they didn't want to put everything under a corporation because the government had control of it. So they got mad. So the government didn't have any laws on the books to address private trust back then. But they made amendments to the IRS code in 1918, 1922, and 1926. They made like 3 amendments to it to address it. That's why they couldn't tax them. And everybody had their property and real estate. And they're like, no, we got to do something about this. And that's when that's why I think they took over the government. They started getting pissed off. They said, well, you know what? We're going to bankrupt these motherfuckers and make them depend on our money. We're going to take their money, make them depend on our money and take over these motherfuckers. Because y'all coming in here fucking with our business. We wasn't bothering nobody. Yeah, we monopolized it, but we did the shit and we did it on our own. And here you come getting our business. Now you got to pay. That's what I think. That's what I think happened. From me reading everything that I read, the antitrust laws. That started fucking with them and they like broke up Standard Oil, start breaking up their corporations and shit like that. I said, okay, all right. You don't fuck with no rich and powerful man. They don't play that, man. I think like Rockefeller and all them dudes, they had so much money. They had more money than the government, some of them. They had more money than the government.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was coming there fucking, you fucking with me? Okay. I can see it. I probably would have had the same attitude too. Knowing how my personality is, I done built me a business, making money, got all these people employed. I ain't fucking with nobody. Here you come mad because I'm controlling everything in my industry. Okay. We see if I'm gonna just roll over. I'm like, I ain't just gonna roll over. And I think that's what happened. That's when they went to work. It was the early 1900s. They went to work. They started getting them laws passed. All the dudes that was gonna be against the Federal Reserve Act put their ass on the Titanic and sunk that motherfucker. That ought to go and tell you what kind of men you was dealing with. Because everybody who was against the Federal Reserve Act died on the Titanic. They sunk a whole motherfucking ship. What do you think they'll do to you? Man, y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up and know who you dealing with. These people ain't playing about what they doing. They is not playing. They want total control. They want total control. All out control. Total. They want control of your thoughts. They put it out movies talking about you can catch a crime because you thought some shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, brothers, any more questions?
I wanted to say though, yeah, like okay, I remember you talking about notary protest process, right?
Right.
But when I was reading with the commercial liens and most total method, it seemed not to have that. I mean, you can do it by yourself.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, you can,
you know
but let me tell you, wrote that book. There's another book actually that's real good on commercial. There's only 2 books in existence that I know of to talk about commercial liens. I had both of them and I lost the other one. Somebody got it from me. But the point is this: you can't put a lien on somebody without giving them notices. You just can't just arbitrarily and capriciously put a lien on a person because you pissed off. There's a process in putting a lien on someone. You got to give them notices, man. The administrative process is about giving notices and having evidence that you gave notice. Where's your proof that you gave notice? The administrative process, we call it administrative process, but what it is giving notice and having proof that I gave notice. That's an equitable principle. You got to follow principles of equity, man. You can't do what you want to do. That's why I said, what is the first thing I said? Study the principles of equity. That's your guidelines.
It's a better question then.
All right, go ahead.
It's a better question then. Okay. Because I remember when you talk about the notary protest process, you were talking about how, it goes through they're the middleman or or it goes through wherever their mailbox is or whatever box they use. You know what I'm saying? But I guess with the commercial lien process, you just have to have a notarize what you sent. And then, instead of going through him. Am I right with that?
Well, I mean, first of all, let's look at it. A notary is a witness, all right? That's what a notary is, a witness. Somebody can only testify when they have firsthand knowledge of something. So a notary protest, if the notary is going to be a witness, they have to be the middleman that's privy to everything. She got to have firsthand knowledge that she mailed something out. She has to have firsthand knowledge that you were instructed to mail something back and nothing came back on a specific date. She's your witness, okay? So everything has to run through her. These principles, see how I just did that? All that stuff you're talking about, I went straight to what? What is it? You can only bring evidence or testify on something you have firsthand knowledge of. If the notary is going to be a witness, they have to have firsthand knowledge. So all that other stuff, I don't pay attention to it. It's like, no, it's about, I know how court works. You can't, that's why an attorney cannot testify because they don't have firsthand knowledge of nothing. They have to call witnesses. And they said, you swear to tell the truth. Then you have to swear in. What affidavit? That's evidence. Affidavits are evidence because you're attesting to something you know firsthand knowledge. First thing you say in the first paragraph, I swear that I know of what I'm talking about. You can do a deposition. You got to swear in on that. They ask you questions. You got notarized documents, and then you come in court and testify in court. Testify on the stand, deposition, notarized documents, and affidavits. That's it, man. All commercial liens got to be supported by an affidavit. They got to be supported by an affidavit. It has to be an affidavit supporting it. And then you got to be able to prove that you did what you did. I'm not saying an administrative process is the only way. I just happen to think it's the best way. I haven't seen a better way. Show me a better way where you can present evidence in court according to the rules of court. That's what I'm looking at. Fuck all this other shit y'all reading. How you gonna bring that into court? All roads lead to court. Anytime I'm doing administrative process, in the back of my mind is, if I go to court, I got my ducks in a row. That should be your thoughts. Because if you don't have your ducks in a row to go to court, you could end up being the one liable for something.
Yeah.
All right, bro, I got to move to the next caller. I got some people in hold, all right?
Oh, yeah, real quick, I say one more thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, you were talking about the Jews earlier, and I talked to a Jew, and one thing I remember is that the Wailing Wall and the Kaaba are right next to each other. You know what I'm saying? So they go to the Wailing Wall and they cry about Solomon's temple down. They don't want to rebuild Solomon's temple. They got all the money in the world. They claim to be the chosen people of all high. You can read in Ezra and Nehemiah. They cried to Cyrus to get to build the temple up. Ezra did. Nehemiah did. They was crying. They were like, oh, well, the king thought they was sad. But see, the Jews, they don't care about Solomon. They don't want to rebuild Solomon's temple. They don't want to do a sacrifice to the Almighty. They don't want to work. They got the Kaaba right in the middle of where the Almighty temple was destroyed. That's disrespectful. But they're right next to them, and they both allow this to happen. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about them people, and then you read the Talmud. The Talmud got all types of abominations.
Yeah, dude, the Talmud does. But let me qualify something real quick. I hate to say Jews because all Jews are not a part of this. I had some very good Jewish friends. Jews gave me very good practical business advice. I'm not talking about all Jews. All Jews ain't in on this plot. It is Zionist Jews. No. We gotta qualify this with these Zionists. Okay, I try to use the word Zionist. You know, they got a religion and they got a religious belief and they entitled to it. However you feel about whether they the real Jews or not and all that, that's besides the point. I don't even get into that discussion because if you're claiming that you're the real Jews, a real Jew to me is an individual who follows the 613 laws in the Torah. Okay. All right, where's your covenant? You know, did you get circumcised on the 10th day? Are you under the covenant? Are you a Jew? Now, you might be Jewish by blood. I'm not denying any of that. But the thing is, are you following these laws? Okay, that's what, you know, and there's really no such thing as a Jew. There's a tribe of Judah. You know, that's another thing. Where does the word Jew come from? That word Jew didn't exist, I think, until like the 14th century or something like that. There wasn't no word Jew. I forgot. I got to go back and study my history. Don't quote me on that. But that word Jew is a kind of new innovation. There wasn't no word Jew. Okay, you got the tribes. You got Judah, you know, or whatever. You didn't have no Jews or no, you know, this word Jew is kind of like a slang term. You know, so we're getting back to tribes. You know, you track back your tribe. Now, we go back to the Khazars and the Ashkenazis from the Caucasus Mountains. I studied all that history and all that thing. I know that, and some of them know that. I can show you videos where they talk about, they know their history and things like that. I know. But at the end of the day, what does it really matter if they're in control of everything? If they're in control of the banks, if they're in control of the media, if they're in control of the radio, if they're in control of hip hop, if they're in control of their sports franchises, if they're in control of all of your groceries and all of that, everything that comes to your market, okay, they the biggest wholesalers in the entire world. The clothing, hell, I love Polo, Ralph Lauren. Found out Ralph Lauren is Jewish. I didn't even know that. I wear all this shit all the time. You know, I've been wearing this stuff ever since I was in 8th grade, and I just found out about a couple of months ago that Ralph Lauren is Jewish. Rich as hell, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have nothing against Ralph Lauren. I think he makes good clothing. I think he makes good clothing. You know, I have nothing against the man and nothing like that. I'm going to continue to wear his clothes because I like Polo. But so that's not nothing on that. But at the same time, y'all worried about if they the real and everything, but they own every fucking thing around you. You think they care how you feel if they the real Jews or not? Hell no. They don't care. They don't care. They own everything. They don't care. Okay, whatever you say. You know, right? Go listen to, if you want to see their attitude, go listen to Rabbi Finkelstein. I love him because he got the attitude. You know, whatever you say, he's like, whatever you say, but hell, it looks like we're doing pretty good. You know, he said what he said. He said, you know, that's what your book says. Your book says we're evil. Your book says we're that. Ain't what our book say. Our book say we're gonna rule the world. That's, you know, like the Talmud you just got through talking about. So that's how they feel. So I'm, you know, it's like, who are you? You know, you going off your thing. My thing is show and prove. It's about action. All this talk and everything, that sounds good. Who putting the action in? They very disciplined. They very unified. When they make money, they make sure everybody makes money. They follow principles of investing in business. Hell, they do a lot of things. I study them. They do. I can't. There's a reason that they running everything. It ain't just because they waved a wand and took over shit or just tricked somebody out their shit. They work hard and they work together and they got it done. They in politics. We don't pay. They make sure all their children get a law degree. That's the number one thing they want their kids to have, a law degree. Everybody. That's why they flooded in the law. Right now, go on Wikipedia, go right now and put in Google, Jews in politics. Let me see if I can put this on for you. I'm put this for everybody to see right now. I'll put this for everybody to see. Let me pull this up. Let me just pull this up. I was just doing this today. I was just looking at this today. I was just looking at this today. I was just reading this. I was like, golly. I just want y'all, I want y'all to see this right quick. Because they target stuff. They understand what they need to do to be in control. I mean, it's not like they're doing something illegal. You know, that's why they get mad. They start calling stuff anti-Semitic. They start saying, I can understand why they say that. They're like, okay, we own everything, but you know, it's like, what do you mean? You know, we did this. You sound like you an anti-Semitic, and they start attacking you and shit. And I'm like, look, man, I'm not anti-Semitic. So you got Jews politics in Israel. You're going to see also that 80% of Jews are Democrats. You go in non-Jewish politicians, Jews in politics. Where is it at? They had a Wikipedia. Let me see if I can just do it all. Jews. Not in politics. Oh, yeah, I put politics. Let me put in government. List of Jewish politicians. So look at this right here. All right. So look at all these people. These are all Jewish people. We got members of Congress over here. We go down to the members of Congress. And this ain't all of them. This go all the way back through history. You right now, you can look your Secretary of Treasury. She's Jewish. The Attorney General, he's Jewish. I mean, you just go down the line. They didn't went and occupied all the seats of government. So then when Trump come out and start talking about make America great again, they start talking about the Proud Boys and all of this, and they got, you know, everybody thinking, oh, Trump is racist. What they can't do in politics, they can't say none of this. When they say liberal, they use all these other terms as placeholders, liberal, all this kind of stuff right here. These people have liberal views. They're Democrat. They have a communist type mindset to them and everything. And you can go and just see it yourself. Here are the members of Congress. You got, what is this? They're cabinet officials, governors of states, lieutenant governors, state attorney generals, state secretaries, state treasurers, municipal government. You go into the judges, you see that, you go and just start seeing it for yourself. They ain't hiding nothing. Go look at all the offices in your government right now. I say that they got probably about 70% of the offices in government right now. I'm just saying, and they all on one accord. Their accord is, okay, now you understand why this agenda getting pushed. All right, all this LGBTQ stuff. Go back and study the history. Go back and watch Hitler, the greatest story ever told, and see whether the same things happen in Germany as the same things happen in the United States. The pornography, all of this kind of stuff, the lack of morality and all of that. They have to tear down the fibers of society to make a new world order. Out of chaos comes order. You have to bring in chaos and bring in order. It's called a new world order. They're going to destroy the old system and they want to put in a brand new system. And they want it worldwide. It's a worldwide. They want the whole world in the palm of their hand. And everybody on one accord. And the goal is, y'all listen to what I'm saying, one law, one religion. Ain't going to be no multiple religions. They're going to get rid of all of the religions. They're doing that right now. They're destroying all the other religions. They're destroying Christianity. The Christians look weak to me and my thing, because now some of them trying to stand up and try to talk right now, but when all this other stuff talking about identifying LGBTQ and all of this stuff, this is a Christian country. How y'all gonna let them get that off? I didn't even understand that. And feminist movement, right. How you gonna let the feminist movement get off? The man is the head of the household. What happened with that? It's God, man, and family. You know, what happened with that? You know, they gave your women jobs. Who do you think gave them jobs? They gave them the jobs. They gave them jobs. Okay, we'll give their women some jobs. Disrupt they know that any time in any household that when a woman starts making more money than a man, that's going to cause some disruption in the household. That's not hard to determine. All you got to do is look in their neighborhood, see if that's going on in their neighborhood. 97% of Jews who marry Jews, they practice their religion. I'm on time. Jews who marry Jews, 97% of them, they ain't dealing with none of this stuff that y'all dealing with. In some Jewish communities in Brooklyn, they don't even allow TVs in their community. They don't even have TVs in their community. Come on now. Y'all need to see what's out. They ain't allowing their children to get, you go in the neighborhood, in any neighborhood, you see they got their own synagogues, they got their own schools they send their children to. They ain't teaching their children ain't getting the same education your children is getting. They get a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah at 12 and 13 years old. They learn to respect the laws of God at an early age. They learn natural law. Then they start teaching them man-made law. They send almost all of them go get a law degrees. Come on, man. They work for it. They work for it. He who can be fooled. There's a maxim of law. He who can be fooled, let him. Einstein, Jew, made the formula for the atomic bomb. Charles Darwin, Jew, what did he say? Oh, we think y'all kind of came from animals. You think they teaching their children they came from animals? Y'all need to wake the fuck up. This shit ain't even that intelligently done. You had to dumb down some motherfuckers to make them fall for this shit. This shit, when you go back and just study it, you're like, man, this is, you know, all the people, Noam Chomsky and all these people they got who are they brain people and everything. They brilliant philosophers. I go listen to that shit. It ain't nothing but some atheistic, communistic, liberal type of ideology that's being pushed onto the public under the guise of something intelligent. And if you're looking at me and you don't like what I'm saying, I'm telling you, that shit is ridiculous. It's not intelligent. We descend from the greatest people on this fucking planet. And you can go over there in Egypt right now and look on them damn walls. There's black people on those walls. We built that shit. How dare you? How you have the unmitigated gall and to sit here and try to act like we are the lowest on the totem pole on this planet.
I know I got to go, man, because I'm here too long now. I just want to say real quick. I grew up in a Jewish community. You know what I'm saying? I used to go to their house, Benstein and Sachs, and they used to have the big houses with the stair, with the spiral stair. They used to have these cradles. They used to invite me over and stuff. I grew up in Jewish community. I'm an Israelite. That's why, you know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they hate, but it just is what it is. I was trying to. You know what I'm saying? I grew up
some of the things they say about us is true. Look at our women, what they doing? They're out twerking and shit. You know, doing all kind of crazy shit. We ain't got control of our families, our children. They all wilding and everything like that. Some of it is, you know, like, I mean, what's the root cause of it? But look, you can't see what's going on. That shit has almost got out of control. Listen to the music, man. I can't even listen to the music. I can't even listen to the music. And I grew up in hip hop. I'm a hip hop head. And I can't even listen to this music that they're listening to. I'm a hip hop head. I love beats. I still love beats. It's my favorite type of beat is a hip hop beat. I love it. And a good hip hop beat. But I just can't, some of the stuff that they talking about in the music, how women getting programmed to be, you know, like promiscuous and, you know, promiscuity, they trying to normalize promiscuity and everything. And the women, you out there trying to say, well, you know, it shouldn't matter how many people I slept with. It will always matter how many men you slept with. You will never get a man you will never, listen to me, you will never get men to accept that. That hasn't been accepted since the foundations of the planet. And if you think you are, you's a damn fool.
They is tools. A lot of them is.
You would never get a man to accept that.
But my bad.
That's the root of what's going on with the relationships right now. Ain't no man gonna accept the fact you done had 50 men up inside of you, and you sitting there saying, I'm supposed to accept that, and I know about it. Not no man of any value who's worked hard to establish himself. Maybe somebody who don't value nothing. A man don't value nothing. Them the only kind of men that accept shit like that. Men who don't value themselves. They have low standards. Anyway,
peace, my brother. Thank you for letting me on, man. I appreciate you, family.
I appreciate that, bro. Peace. It'd be hard to talk about some of this stuff. I know I'm gonna offend some people, but I came from the school of thought, speak the truth, though it be bitter to others. That's what you have to do. They didn't even talk about it in the mouth, like, you know, it was like sweet in the mouth, but when it gets in the belly, it gets sour and everything, you know. It's like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, that's what the truth does. You just got to tell somebody got to come and say it, because obviously what society is operating off of right now ain't working. You're being allowed to see that when you do your own thing, you'll destroy yourself. When you start going away from God and the laws of God, natural laws, the laws that he's laid down, you start talking about a man can be a woman, a woman can be a man. He's just going to show you, I'm going to let you do all that, and I'm going to let you see that you're going to destroy yourself. I had to do that with a young lady I was dating. You know, I was taking care of her. She didn't want to get taken care of. She said that being a housewife is slavery. This is what they saying. They saying being a housewife is slavery. She out there in the strip club right now. I say it, in the strip club. That's the life she want. So I got to show her, I say, you know what? I have to allow you to see for yourself, because I've already lived that life. I already hustled, and I've been in the world. I've been in the strip clubs. I did all of that. I know where it leads. That ain't nothing but a dark life. That whole lifestyle is dark. Hustling, selling dope, being in strip clubs, taking drugs, smoking weed, taking dope, and that's a dark lifestyle. You always feel like you got a cloud over your head. There's a dark cloud everywhere you go. There's no peace of mind. Ain't no peace of mind. You can pretend like it is all you want. I was there. You can't tell me. I did all that shit. I think that's why I got sent. You can't talk to a person and I done did all the shit you want to do. I done did the shit you want to do because I had money to do it. The shit you want is getting your bag and all. I did all that shit several times over. And you ain't got it to first base yet. And you thinking it's like that. I'm here to try to tell you that's what it is. You think you know. Y'all, you're gonna get old. You're gonna get old. You young people out there calling people old, your ass is gonna get old. With all them tattoos on your body, you're gonna get old. All right, you ain't staying young forever. You're not staying. By the time you hit 30, them 20-something's gonna be calling you old. By the time you're 30, 32, 33, talk to a 23-year-old, they're gonna call your ass old. You say, oh, you old. You're gonna start calling you old. That's gonna start happening too. You ain't staying young. You're on the clock. You're on the clock just like everybody else. You ain't nothing special. You have your turn right now. Somebody coming behind you is going to be their turn next. They're going to have a different slang. They're going to have different music, and all the shit you was doing, they're going to say that shit is outdated. They're going to be talking about you. All the technology you got in your hand is going to be old. What? Y'all had, what kind of phone? What's an Android phone? We got shit in we got chips in our hand. Y'all operated cars off gas? What? Gasoline? What's that? People gonna be saying all of that. Your time is now, but it's passing. You better make the most of it, and you better make good, intelligent decisions. Good, intelligent decisions. I live that lifestyle, man. That lifestyle ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna give you the keys right now. The key is you have to start honoring the creator, the balanced universe. If you want the protection of God, you have to follow God's word. And I'm not talking about Christianity, Islam, Hebrew Islam. I'm not saying it in that sense. I'm saying it is when you start to really understand God and laws. Fuck all this shit, your own philosophy and how you feel about something. I'm talking about you got to start with something, immutable laws. Once you start studying the immutable laws, you can't understand God until you understand nature, because the evidence of God is in nature. That is the demarcate, that is the baseline for everything, nature. That's the baseline to determine whether you're crazy or not. Because only a crazy person goes against nature, because natural laws are immutable. So if you think you go against them, you're crazy. That's why they say the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result, because that's going against the natural law principle of cause and effect. That's why they say you insane. Nothing new is under the sun. If we telling you we've been in them damn strip clubs, I've been in there throwing money and did all of that, and you want to listen to me say, I go in the strip club look exactly the same it did 50 years ago. Look exactly the same. Women still dress the same, dance the same, and dudes do the same. Only thing I see is motherfuckers in there got skinny jeans now. That's it. And the music is different. That's the only two different things. Everything else is exactly the same. Exactly the same. Ain't nothing changed. So come on, man. Y'all and your life is not going to correct itself until you start learning to live honorably, till you start respecting your fellow man. It's not going to change. If you want peace of mind, it's spiritual. Peace of mind is spiritual laws. It's not something that you can just do. Like, I'm going to just do what I want. You got to study. You got to study to show yourself approved. So you got to begin with spiritual laws. You need some sort of guidance. That's why I say seek wisdom. Make wisdom. And one of the greatest things I do appreciate is when I was young, for some reason, I fell in love with wisdom. I only read wisdom. I started with Proverbs. I wrote the Sirach of Jesus Christ. That's why I'm always telling you about the Emerald Tablets of Thought. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. You start reading books on wisdom. The I Ching, just especially in the Oriental, they got a lot of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Zen, Zen. I love Zen. That's when you begin to see that people can be talking about wisdom in the same way, but express it in a different way. It's just beautiful. And then you begin to appreciate, like, wow, this guy has an understanding of this thing. This Buddha and Jesus can say the same thing, but say it in different ways, and it be beautiful in both ways. Buddha can say it beautifully. Jesus can say it beautifully, but they're talking about the same thing. And you can look at that and you're like, wow, man, they talking about the same thing. And then that's when you begin to fall in love with wisdom. And when you start falling in love with wisdom, then, it starts affecting your life. It starts controlling, your interaction with your fellow man, because you understand that there are consequences for your actions. And now you begin to understand what it says, govern yourself accordingly. You have to govern yourself accordingly. You can only govern yourself according to what you know. If you don't know nothing, make knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That should be the foundation of everything you're living. If you're not living life every day learning something new, what are you living for? I see y'all. I gotta go. I see y'all on the next one. And I know there's some people in. I'm gonna come back on later on, and I get the callers when I come back in, because my time is up. We're about to go off the air. I think I got time for one more. How much time I got left? I got time for one more. 985-6614. You're on the air. I got time for one more. 985-6614.
What's going on?
Hey, what's happening, man? What's going on?
What's going on, Yusef? Appreciate the answer, brother. Look, make it right quick. I'm in the SPC University. I started a process a bit. I got a chapter 13 going on, and I want to know, how can I make a move before my secure part of the process is done, or do I have to wait?
No, you can always take action. Listen, man, I was taking action way before I did any secure party process. You don't have to do the secure party process is for discharging debt. That's solely what it's for. There's a status correction part in it, because you have to give notice to the government of what your status is as a private individual, because you need that status to access the value that can be put into the form of a bond. So that's why there's a status correction aspect to it. But no, you can take a lot of action without doing it. It's not necessary to do a secure party process. You can just do a status correction process can accomplish a lot. It can. I'm not the status correction, like with your nationality. A lot of the things that they do is on point. There's a lot of shit that they do is on point. There's a lot of similarities between the two. There's some differences, because one is dealing with commerce and negotiable instruments. and the other one is just dealing with status and, you know, and treaties and things of that nature, but they're attacking the same thing. They understand that this 14th Amendment citizen is the bullshit that we need to look out for. You know, some of the times I think that they don't understand that the commercial activity that they get involved in is the things that's tethering them to the system. They just think it's because I'm calling myself black. It's not because you're calling yourself black. It's because you're using Federal Reserve notes. They don't give a damn about what you call yourself. That don't mean shit to them. That might have meant something. That might have meant something 50 years ago, 70, 80 years ago, maybe 100 years ago. It don't mean nothing today. Today, the world is ruled by corporations and commerce. Now, I read the law books all the time. The most important clause in the Constitution, y'all listen to me when I'm telling you, what all that's caused more litigation than any other clause in the Constitution is Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, the Commerce Clause. You can get a Constitution interpretation and analysis, Supreme Court interpretation and analysis of the Constitution, and read the preface to that and let them Supreme Court justices explain that shit to you if you don't like how I'm saying it.
Gotcha. Is there any way I can discharge through this bankruptcy, or should I wait to finish the secure part of the process?
I mean, as far as you're going to try to discharge any debt, I mean, you can always tender them a negotiable instrument. The thing is you got to understand when you're talking about discharge and you're talking about negotiable instruments. Okay, anytime you're dealing with negotiable instruments, we're dealing with Article 3 of the UCC. You got to know the rules of negotiable instruments. Nowhere in the UCC does it say that you have to do a secure party process to discharge debt. It only gives you the guidelines that you operate under. So the thing is, the first thing is you got to be a holder in due course. You need to know what that means. That means you have to have a claim on an instrument. So how are you going to give notice of claim on an instrument? How are you going to give, that's what they established the commercial chamber for, is to give public notices. All right? It's a place for commerce can be conducted and give public notice. That's why they have a UCC commercial chamber. But do you have to use it? No, because nowhere in the UCC does it tell you have to use the commercial chamber. It just says UCC 1-202 just says you got to give a notice. It doesn't say you got to give a notice that way. So if you have a way that you can give notice, witnesses, do you have to use a notary? No, you can use 2 witnesses. You have to use a notary. Use 2 witnesses. You know, there are ways you can do things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it that way, but you got to follow the rules. There are rules to the game. It's just like Monopoly. It's just like Monopoly. When you play the game of Monopoly, my brother, okay, what do? We come in, we play the game of Monopoly, and we open up the box top and pull out the Monopoly board and open it up. We want to play the game. Before the first thing everybody reach for to play the game is a token, okay? Let's play with a token. My token is, you're going to be an individual token, you want the association token, you want the partnership token, you want the company token, the corporation token, the estate token, or the trust token. What token you gonna play with? Matter of fact, we're gonna give all y'all a default token because we know y'all don't know shit, so we're gonna give you a default token called an individual. We just throw all y'all ass out with that. All right, so everybody got a token to play the game with. Okay, what's next? We need money. Everybody give them $1,500 a piece. We're gonna pass that around the board because you need some money to play the game of commerce. This is what they're talking about. Every time a baby is born, they issue a bond for $650,000 because what? Every time there's a new body, they got to put some more money in the game. Got to be enough money to go around for everybody to play the game. That makes common sense. That makes common sense. You know what I'm saying? It has to be enough money for everybody. That's why they want a birth certificate. They need to know, oh, we got some new players on the board. That's why they have something against illegal aliens. Because illegal aliens are coming over here working. They don't have a social security number. They're taking Federal Reserve notes out of the game and taking it back to their country. And they ain't got no record of it. They didn't issue no money in their name. If they want to play the game, get a social security number so we can issue some money in your name. You come over here and play the game with us. But don't come over here and sneak across the border and get some money, all right? And you're taking money out of our pocket. I had to be born, and I had to guarantee that money. That's why on the back of my Social Security card, there's a red number that's on all the Federal Reserve notes. It's a game, man. It's a commerce game. So, okay. So, all right. So now, can I put money on free parking? Let me read the instructions. It don't say shit about putting $500 on free parking, dog. No, you can't put no. How do we get out of jail? 3 rows get you out of jail. It's rules to the game. So if you're going to use negotiable instruments, read Article 3 of the UCC and see what it say. Those are the rules to the game. Just look at it as a game. What can I do with a promissory note? The IRS already told you in the IRS employee manual, they don't tell you, you can't pay no taxes with a promissory note because they got right there in the employee manual. They don't accept them. They accept bills of exchange. A bill of exchange is a three-party instrument. It's like a check. It draws off of something. Usually they want something that's going to draw off something because the promissory note is just a two-party instrument. It's just, if you give me a promissory note, what guarantee is it? That's a promise you're going to pay me. How do I get any type of security that you're going to pay me? You just give me a piece of paper, say you owe me something. Nobody's going to take, trust me, I dealt with guys who deal with, anybody watching me right now, you know when I'm telling the truth. Dudes dealing with negotiable instruments all over the planet. Ain't nobody taking no negotiable instrument unless that motherfucker got a CUSIP number, a tracking number on it, a ISIN number or something like that. It's been verified in some kind of way and it's been supported by something. Nobody taking that shit. Mm-hmm. Know the game, man.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
What you did to read the Article 3 of the UCC, is it inside the Uniform Commercial Code made easy?
Is it inside the Uniform Commercial Code what?
The Uniform Commercial Code made easy, that book, story of Stephen Coates by Robert M.
I don't know. I haven't read that book. There's a ton of books. You know, you get a Westlaw business book and it got the Uniform Commercial Code in and they talk about it. There are a lot of different books got the Uniform Commercial Code you can read from. I haven't read that. But I mean, read it. I mean, you know, I studied Secure Transactions by Douglas Whaley's Article 9 of the UCC. I'm going to show you. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. It's on Amazon. I'm going to show you the book that I read that studied Article 9. And then it's just a good book that anybody who's like, you want to know about filing a UCC 1 and all of that kind of stuff, where you can go. Right here, you see this book right here? When I was in jail, I had this book sent in to me in jail, Secure Transactions. This book right here, it's like a Cliff Note book. It's like a Cliff Note. So I don't know if you know what a Cliff Note is. It's like a condensed version and get right to the point, you know. But this right here, these any of these Gilbert Law Summaries, it's called Gilbert Law Summaries. You can get one on Article 3. You get Gilbert Law Summaries on anything. This is what I would recommend, Gilbert Summaries. You know, it's Gilbert Law. See, they got Gilbert Law Summaries on everything. Got on torts. You got, you know, Gilbert Law Summaries on everything. You see it right here. See all these Gilbert Law Summaries? That would be what I would suggest that, you know, people, you know, get that. If you just get one on the subject that you're interested in. Like you have one right here on torts, ethics, legal ethics, you know, on everything. These are very, very good books, man. They're very, very good books. They're very, very good books. That's what I would suggest that you get. You know, so, but you can, I'm not saying that's the only thing that you can get. You can learn a lot of different things from a lot of different books. There's so many different law books on different subjects. I mean, I don't know all of them. You know, it's like, all I can tell you is like, I saw that first Supreme Court justice tell those students when he gave a speech in Philadelphia. I can't remember which Supreme Court justice it was, but you know, that law student asked him, he said, how am I going to study the law? It's so much to learn. He said, you don't study that. You study the principles. You're not supposed to be studying that. You're supposed to be studying the principles of law, not all this other shit. Principles are what you study. Notice everything I'm saying to you is based off of some principle. The same thing with the laws of nature. When you talk about God, you got to go to, well, what are the principles? Because the principles don't change. Law means something that doesn't change. A true law does not change. That's why these statutes and codes and shit ain't real law. Those are not real laws. Real laws don't change. That's why you have a capital L law and a lowercase l law. When you see a capital L law, they talking about the ones that do, the definite article, you know, they talking about something that doesn't change. They talking about something that has to do with nature. And then you ain't gonna see a lot of them discuss that because they demons and they don't like to give any type of acknowledgement to the creator of the boundless universe. They think they man-made laws are separate from that when man-made laws rest on that. Because the king only gets a divine right of rulership if it's been ordained by God. That's why when you look on the chessboard, you got the king and queen, and right next to them, you got the bishops. What you talking about? You can't rule without God's sanction. rule over his people. You rule over God's people. You got to have sanction to do that. And being a king, it means that you have been certified as an expert in the laws of God. That's a king. Thank Solomon for a second. Anyway, brother, I got to get off, man. My time is over. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. When your consultation is going to be back on and pop.
As soon as I get this website together, I'm going to crank them back up. I'm going to crank them back up, trust me. And it's going to be very soon. It's going to be probably within the next week. Be very soon, okay? It's not going to be a long time.
Appreciate you.
All right. All right, y'all. I want to appreciate everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed this presentation today. I really enjoyed it. It's like y'all, I'm like, damn, I appreciate all of the 7 principles. Thank you for the $7. Let me see all the people who gave donations. I appreciate you. I wasn't looking in the chat room, as I was talking. So if you gave me a donation, I didn't call your name. I apologize. But I appreciate all the donations that I receive. I appreciate all the people who follow this channel. And hopefully, y'all have gleaned something that can help you from this production. I'll be back on tomorrow. It's been great. Peace to all the gods and goddesses. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace. I'm out.